All right, so I think the stream thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 71. Now, I know it's been a couple of weeks. We're finally out of the month of January. We're finally in the month of February. For some people, that's the month of love and all of that good stuff though. But for us here in the gaming sphere, yeah, we're out of the drought now. We just hit this weekend, Steven, where we literally had Yakuza, Grand Blue Fantasy, Persona 3 Reload. I think and then shoot, like a week ago, we also had the Ace Attorney Apollo Justice trilogy that came out. A week before that, we had the oh gosh, what was it? The Prince of Persia game and stuff. Like we've been getting hit. It's like a poker game,
Yeah,
they're just saying hit me. And it hasn't been stopping though, but it's been good, man. But Steven, how's it been going, man?
it's been going good. I haven't really been playing much, honestly. I've been getting home and either watching YouTube or this and that, watching shows.
Man, you better been watching some of my videos, man. I put out a ton of stuff last week. Honestly, I felt like that's probably the most I put out in quite some time.
Yeah. I think the next game I'm playing is Mario versus Donkey Kong, but yeah. Like that I haven't played anything in the last week.
Dang. Wait, so well, I guess we'll probably get to it when we get to it
Yeah.
though. But dang, Mario versus Donkey Kong. Oh, that's another one in a couple weeks. My goodness. Whew.
I
Well,
think like the 16th I think it comes out.
yeah. So yeah, it's about a couple weeks away from now. Just a little bit of housekeeping, real quick. I know some people. You got many different avenues where you can kind of listen to your podcasts and stuff. Obviously, some people like to watch it live here or shortly after the fact on YouTube, or sometimes you might watch it on my Podbean or podcast server or on your podcast of choice like Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff though. However, I did get notifications that apparently Google is shaking things up and they're actually shutting down Google Podcasts. So
What?
unfortunately, I don't know why, Steven. It's a little weird, but I think they're transitioning everything off of Google Podcasts and moving it over to YouTube Music. So
Google just does that. Remember Stadia? They just like to make things and then get rid of them.
yeah, but I think Google Podcasts has been up for a little it's been up longer. Like I was using that server before I was using like the Podbean server itself. So I've been using Google Podcasts for like the longest hot minute though, but I think they're just trying to move everything over to YouTube Music. So I was just letting people know, hey, if you're listening to this off of Google Podcasts, transition yourself over to YouTube Music. That's still, owned by Google and all of that stuff though. But the interesting thing with YouTube Music is you can search me up there and you can find my show on that side. And it's really nice because I've been messing around with it. You can literally flip it from the audio version and flip it over to the video version. So you can flip it whatever you want. And unlike YouTube, you can turn the power off on your phone and you can still listen to anything you're listening off of YouTube Music. So I was like, hey, that's pretty good right there. Cause some people on YouTube, they'll do their podcast series. And like, for example, Kid and Krista, the Nintendo Minute
Nintendo
people.
Minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually like listening to their stuff, but usually you'll be listening off of their YouTube channel, and I have to leave my phone on. But if I listen to them off of YouTube Music, then hey, I can cut my phone off and still be able to listen to it. So I think that's a game changer. It's actually a little bit way better than Google Podcasts. So I was just letting people know and being informed. Hey, you can listen to me off of there. So if you do listen to me off of there, it's instantaneous. The second we're done with the show, you can go ahead and open it up or slash you can listen to it live off of YouTube Music. So, it's just
That's
another
cool.
avenue. So yeah, I like what you said, man. It's pretty cool though. But I was just letting people know about that. I think that's a little bit yeah, I think that's it for the housekeeping stuff. So we'll go ahead and jump on over to our first major news segment, that being oh gosh, man, I'm about to start it off here rough. Jump into that pop culture segment. All right, so this is just kind of a quick news update. It's not really anything super in depth. I just kind of want to let people know about this though. But Steven, yes, they did confirm that there is going to be a What If season 3. So I guess season 2 popped off, well enough. It was interesting because you know how they did, like they dropped an episode almost every single day until they dropped their, I think it was about 10 episodes or so. And then
Something like that.
Yeah, and then we waited about a couple or a few weeks, and then they went ahead and announced, "Yeah, we're gonna do a season 3." I like how that we have something consistent that we just know is always being in the works. Because a lot of people, whether you like the MCU itself or especially the comics, because they go back and do a lot of things from the comic and alter stuff, though, but we have a lot of good stuff. So, I'm glad to see this consistency going. Still hadn't sat down and watched all the episodes. I still need to sit down and do it. Have you sat down and watched all the episodes yet, Steven?
No.
I keep telling myself, I was like, all right, tonight I'm gonna watch at least one or maybe two episodes. But then I remind myself, I was like, you know what? I got some anime to watch. And the anime season for spring has been pretty good, I would say, for the most part. And then I never get around to doing it. Even though
But
Tuesdays and Thursdays I ain't got nothing.
I'll admit, out of all those goddamn Marvel shows, What If is the only interesting one to me because like it looks pretty nice animation wise. I like it.
Yeah, it's the one that kinda holds its quality up the best, like, you know exactly what you're getting, so it ain't nothing bad, like, if you like
Yeah.
season 1, you're probably gonna like all the rest of them. Obviously, certain shows are gonna speak to you more so depending on the characters in it, but, that kinda goes without saying, though, but, yeah, not too much deep news, I just kinda wanna let people know 'cause, shoot, after Echo finished up, which Echo was an amazing show right there, we don't really know exactly what's gonna be next on the horizon, so we're actually waiting for MCU to kinda give us an update on that, though, but given how we're only gonna have 1 movie this year, I gotta take my Marvel segments where I can get them because we
Wait,
only
what
got
is the one movie?
the 1 movie is, Daredevil, with, Wolverine up in it. That's our 1 movie for the year. That's
Wait,
it.
wait. You mean Deadpool?
Yeah, Deadpool. Wait,
You
what did
said
I say? Oh,
Daredevil.
I
Confused
said
me.
Daredevil, my bad. No, Deadpool.
I was like so confused. Yeah, no, I gotcha.
No, yeah. No, I know that's another, Disney Plus show, the Daredevil, that's gonna be one coming up, though, but yeah, that's our 1 movie, Deadpool, yeah.
That's surprising, dude. All of that stuff with like the actor for Kang must have really messed up their schedule.
I mean,
So
it's
I'll
kinda a little
comment
bit of
on
that,
that.
but I think it was the writer strikes that was what really pushed it back, and they were like, "Hey, we need to rebalance and get a little time," and they were restructuring some
Yeah,
stuff. But that
bad
between
situation all
the
around.
few combination of things, that's what rolled everything back, but yeah. Whew, all right. Well, that's all I wanted to say on that segment. We'll keep this train going now. And then next up, they did finally announce, finally, Super Nintendo World is coming to Universal Orlando. Now, between, Universal in Florida and California, obviously the California park is already open now, but I'm usually more likely to either go with my family and stuff to Universal on the Florida side. I think it's a little bit closer whether we fly or we drive. It's closer for us to get to Florida than it is to go all the way over there to California, though. And, it's a little bit cheaper too, because, gosh dang, California's too expensive, man. But I'm glad they finally announced it. Yeah, they did say a year. They said it's gonna be releasing 2025. So we don't have to wait. Is that, yeah, 2025. Yeah, we're in 2024. This thing's supposed to be opening up next year. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we don't have to wait too much longer, even though it might be like later on, second half of 2025. I am looking forward to it though. And have you seen that buzz around Steven with the Mr. Anuma being spotted at the theme park?
No, I have not actually.
I think I saw some pictures of somebody, taking them off of Twitter, and they were like, "Oh, Numa's kinda walking around Universal Orlando and stuff," and that kinda leads to question, I'm pretty sure when this park opens up, you're not just gonna have the Mario section and the Donkey Kong section all opening up at the same time. I think there's gonna be a little mini section for Legend of Zelda, so you all of it's gonna be open up on day 1. So that's why I'm like, "Hey, I really wanna go to the Universal one over there in Orlando, particularly than the California one because hey, we'll be able to experience everything at one go around and stuff like that. So that's what I'm really looking forward to with this park. But oh, Steven, are you ever gonna make plans to actually go to this park at some point?
I don't know.
Man, you're out there at New York, so I guess the Florida one would have been a closer one to get.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Someday we got to get you over there. We got to get you over there though, because man, I want to taste this food, man. I know they're gonna have nothing but a bunch of mushrooms up in this gosh dang park, but I do like myself some mushrooms, so I'm pretty sure that'll be pretty cool right there, though. But simple, straightforward news, not a lot to it though. But yeah, I think that's all I had on the pop culture segment stuff. Obviously, I do know, was it next Sunday for us here in America, it is going to be Super Bowl Sunday. Luckily, the bi-weekly podcast rolled out just right, so I naturally will have that off. But you better know it will be coming back in a couple weeks from now. And if we see any good halftime shows, or if a meme pops up out of it, or a good funny commercial, we'll talk about it here in this segment. Hopefully, something good happens this year. I don't remember anything standing out. Like, remember that one meme last year, or not last year? I think it was the year before last, Steven, with was it Bruno Mars? Was it 2 years ago
I think it
when he was
was the
walking?
weekend.
Yeah, and he was walking around and oh, maybe it wasn't Bruno Mars. I was thinking, yeah, the weekend. I think it was the weekend. He
It
was
was just
walking
him like
around and
walking around
yeah,
confused.
yeah, that one. I remember that one. So
Yeah.
I was expecting to get a meme last year, but we didn't get anything. So I was like, dang.
I don't know. We always get. Well, I was gonna say last year we also got. I know that you don't know anything about it, but we got that one Popcorners commercial with the stars of Breaking Bad in it,
Yeah,
which
that would be a
which
yeah. I wouldn't have picked up on that.
well no yeah well the entire commercial is like a Breaking Bad parody, and obviously just to explain it to someone that doesn't know anything about Breaking Bad, the show has a extremely serious tone. So just imagine like this like sponsored goofy ass commercial about this drama TV show.
Hmm.
Like, just like all of the characters in the all of the characters instead of dealing meth, they're dealing popcorners in the commercial. It's great. Yeah, but that was my favorite part of last Super Bowl. And they showed it before the Super Bowl, so I didn't even have to watch it.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. They always
I don't like
do
that.
show yeah, they always do show those advertisements like a week out in advance.
Explain.
I think I ran across the Eminem Super Bowl commercial. I think. It was weird because I'd never seen this one before. It was like they were talking and it was them in like a Zoom call or something like that. And I was like, "This looks like a Super Bowl commercial," but I couldn't hear it because I was too far away from the TV. I just happened to look up at it real quick though. So if that one's at the Super Bowl, you got a little bit of a heads up on that one though. But ooh, all right. But we'll probably have a lot more to say on that, obviously, in a couple of weeks though. But that pretty much does in terms of our pop culture segment. So we'll go ahead and roll it on over into what's in the gaming news. Alrighty, so we got to talk about this, Steven. You know, we all knew this day was going to come for the 3DS and the Wii U eShops closures, and they gave us a heads up on this. It was almost about this time last year or so. They kind of gave us a year heads up, though. But since we're, right on the doorstep, they kind of gave us that little friendly reminder, that friendly nudge that said, yeah, the 3DS and the Wii U eShops are literally going to be closing down. I'm trying to get the date right here. I had it at first and then it moved up on me. Thank you, Twitter, on April the 8th. So, what is it? From now, you got, yeah, you got a little, roughly around 2 months, a little more than 2 months and then the online services for the 3DS and Wii U will be closed down forever. I know there's some things on the side where people gonna start doing some like fan servers and stuff, but just
There's like
for
Pretendo, if you've heard of that.
yeah, I heard about some of their works on that though. But for the vast majority of people or the casual audience that who probably won't mod or try to get that to work, for a lot of people this is gonna be the last time to jump up on it though. So just want to take just a quick second, just to kind of throw out some games that if you wanted to play them, I would say, hey, these are our recommendations. One I'll throw out real quick is Kid Icarus Uprising. You can never go wrong with that. Honestly, I think out of all the multiplayer games on the 3DS, that is definitely one that stood out to me the most. I'm definitely gonna have to fire that game up and just go a couple more rounds on it before it goes down. But Steven, you got a recommendation?
On the 3DS,
3DS or Wii
there's
U?
there's a lot of good games. Wii U. It's so hard to choose, but if we're just talking about games where really can't find them anywhere else, um,
No, like playing online. 'Cause it's not like people can
Playing
buy
oh,
them on the
playing
digital. Yeah.
online, the original Splatoon game was a chaotic clusterfuck, but it was so fun. It was the most fun I've ever had with like an online game. Was the original Splatoon. I don't know
You know
about you. Oh, you didn't play it, right?
no, actually, I bought that game just to say I had it because it's like the only Splatoon game I didn't have up in the series, and I played it on and off in the month leading up to Splatoon 3, and I already know there's a bunch of hackers on Splatoon, the original one, like, it is ridiculous. All the snipers are
It is.
cracked, all the weapons are, like they feel like they're unbalanced. I'm kinda glad that sucker is going down into like, luckily, we brought Inkopolis over there to the Splatoon 3. You can, enjoy that in the lobby hub and stuff, though, but in terms of playing online, that needed to go. No one's gonna miss that mess. I say that, though. People are, but in another way, I kinda ain't gonna miss it, though. It's kinda funny, though, but, no, I'm just throwing a little bit of shade, though, but, yeah, no, it is a little sad it's gonna be going down, though.
I'm sad.
Let's see here. What's another good one is well, Mario Kart 8 won't really be missed because you have 8 Deluxe on the Switch, but Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS, that one might be a good one for people to kind of go back and mess around with. Steven will have to what me and you and maybe Sonic will have to probably give that one another whirl. What's another one, Steven?
Another 3DS game, Link Between Worlds. We're
Online?
just talking about. Oh no! Online.
No.
Triforce Heroes.
Okay.
Sorry, sorry.
Oh yeah, because Triforce Heroes, that's one I needed to do, and I'm going to have to sit down with you and maybe Alexis or something like that, or Sonic. And I definitely want to play that because I picked that game up before the eShop closed, and I definitely need to try that game with y'all before the online shuts down. I don't. Do you know how long it takes to beat that game?
No, I played like 2 levels, and that's all
Oh,
I played.
oh, okay. So me and you will be pretty raw up in that. Okay, yeah, we really do need to sit down with Alexis and figure that out. No, yeah, because maybe we can have a dedicated night in like the last month leading up to it. So we can actually beat that game together. Because if you could play it with other people, I can't imagine that thing be like super long. Not like Four Swords Adventure. It can't be that
Yeah.
long. Okay, but yeah,
I get
I'm
the
trying to
only
think of
thing I'll
one.
say is like on the argument of like modding and everything. Obviously, like not everyone can do it, but we're getting to the point where like it's so much more common. Like
The o
like
I think the only
especially when
tricky thing with 3DS is because of the 2 screens. I think that's
yeah,
the only weird thing with
but
that
like
system.
But for example, Zard, like, or like, no, I'm not even talking about like the emulation, but like on the case of modding, like when you literally have like updates for games that you cannot access anymore, it is really nice that those the websites that archive all the ROMs and everything, they also archive the updates. So let's just say you missed out on like the system update for Xenoblade X that removes like half the time on the load times. You
Oh,
could go
like
down,
that,
you know what?
yeah.
You could go download the update from a website that archived it.
No, yeah, that is oh, yeah,
That's
that
why
is definitely
preservation's
big.
important.
Yeah. That one's
That's
big,
why,
that one's big.
yeah, that's all the piracy is bad, but like the preservation is like the main good part about it.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion, is that the option will always be there, even if legally the game shuts down. Nintendo would be fools to go after people for playing a game that they don't even have released currently anymore.
Mhm.
Basically, what I'm trying to say is Nintendo better step it up and get most of these games on new systems already if they don't want to release them again.
Yeah, I think that is definitely in the works. Obviously, you see certain things like what Luigi mentioned too, like, I feel like we're almost in that era where they're gonna start going through and
Yeah.
remastering or remaking a bunch of GameCube games and 3DS. I think we're almost at that point right
Well,
now.
because I was gonna say GameCube and 3DS are games that need those are games that could use a graphical update and they're very good. Like 3DS and GameCube games are basically on the same length as like some console games.
Oh, yeah,
At least,
yeah.
yeah. Like, you could buy Metroid Prime Remastered and probably get more fun and more hours out of it than a modern game. Really depends. That's just how those games were built back in the day. They were built like somewhat. We there was not many storage limitations like there were on like N64. You ever hear the stories about how like Ocarina of Time had like how many cut temples and all that?
Shoot, not even Ocarina of Time. Just there's a whole bunch of games back in that. Obviously, with N64, some Super Nintendo games where yeah, a lot of cuts had to happen because of them trying to fit it on cartridges and stuff. And that was one of the reasons
Yeah,
why it was really important when the PlayStation came around and they went to CD based stuff just to fit all that
yeah.
stuff up. And like because originally Final Fantasy VII was planned to drop on the N64, but they couldn't fit that mess up on there. Nintendo wasn't really throwing what was it? Well, not Square Enix at the time. They were Squaresoft. They couldn't throw them a bone. So, that's one of the reasons why we kind of lost the Final Fantasy games from the Nintendo series, though. But yeah, a lot of stuff though. But I do know in terms of online games, there's a lot of stuff out there for both the 3DS and the Wii U though. So do your fellow viewers a favor, drop something down in the comments section, your favorite online games that you probably want to recommend to people if they have the game, just to go ahead and easily have access to it before things get a little bit difficult and a little bit more dicey though. But that's pretty much it in terms of that subject. So we'll go ahead and moving on over. I got most of all the Nintendo stuff blocked together, so we'll keep the Nintendo train rolling here because Steven, I know you probably saw these Twitter announcements and it kind of made you feel a little bit weird and bringing all this stuff up prior to what could be a Nintendo Direct that probably will happen either I don't think it's gonna happen next week, but it'll probably be like the week after that or some point after that though. But they did come out with a few announcements and they were like almost back to back to back because one of the things was I think these were a couple events that were associated with Nintendo Live, and they actually came out and announced and said, "Hey, there's going to be a Splatoon 3 concert as well as a Legend of Zelda orchestra concert that's going to be held here fairly soon. We're going to drop it out on the YouTube channels. The Legend of Zelda one is going to drop out on February the 9th, and then the Splatoon 3 one is going to drop out on February the 10th. So that's literally, roughly around a week away for both of those things. It's a bit unfortunate that Nintendo Live was canceled from it should have been happening in January at Japan because that's where you would have had like the Splatoon 3 World Championships. You would have had the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe World Championship as well because of, people with their crazy threats that shut down Nintendo Live. A little bit unfortunate there though, but
People are fucking crazy. Yeah.
yeah, they really are. But I think between these two events, I'm actually kind of curious because I do like the Splatoon 3 music and stuff, and they kind of go all out with their crazy light shows and stuff like that. So I'm really curious to see how that will look like on YouTube though. But at the same point, the Legend of Zelda concerts, if y'all ever happen to sit down and listen to those, they're really good. Like your Legend of Zelda music, like you can resonate with a lot of the different songs especially the Skyward Sword music. Like that always speaks to me because that's just like one of my personal favorite games right there. Actually, Steven, what is your favorite Legend of Zelda game?
Um, Wind Waker. Second favorite
Interesting.
is
Okay.
Link to the Past.
Okay. Link to the Past. Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with Link. I still need to sit down and play through Link to the Past from start to finish.
Oh,
I always get
some
through
people,
like a good chunk and then I never finish it.
some people would call it a wild take to say that Link to the Past is better than both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but they're
I think
in the
that's
top five
nostalgia
somewhere.
speaking for those people that say that.
Hell yeah. But
Mm.
no, but Link to the Past, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. People love to say, Ocarina of Time, established, Ocarina of Time defined the Zelda formula. It was just a 3D Link to the Past. You collect, think about it, Link to the Past, you collect like three different things, and then you get transported to like an evil dark world, and then you gotta go to six temples. And then Ocarina of Time, you collect three things, get transported to the future, and then you gotta go to six temples. Or it's a very similar premise.
Yeah, very similar. And
Yeah,
then
they're both great games, so like I get it.
So yeah, so that was it for the two different events. And then oddly enough, they announced that some pink colored Joycons are also going to hit the
Oh yeah.
stage for Princess Peach Showtime. I think they're supposed to drop day and date with that game. In which case, people were looking at that and was like, didn't we already have these?" And I'm like, "Technically, yes,
We
but
had
only
one.
one of the Joy-Cons were that color." What was that, Steven? That was it green and pink with some other game? What
I
was it?
think it was yellow and pink, and I
No,
don't think it
yellow
was
and
with a
pink.
game. I think it was just a random drop, which I don't get. I thought it was kind of cool that, like, when we got like special edition consoles that were like a new, like an introduction to a new color. Like, remember when the Mario Odyssey one came out and we got like the Mario Red?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I remember
I
that,
liked
yeah.
that. I thought it was kind of stupid, but also kind of cool that the blue and red switch had like blue on the left side and red on the right side, and then they sold a Joy-Con pack that was the opposite, so you could have a full set of blue and full set of red.
Oh, you talking about with the basic Switch?
Yeah,
See, now that's where I messed up when I got my Switch originally at launch because I knew I really wanted the blue ones, and I was like, I thought getting the mixed blue red was tacky. But I failed to realize that if you were to get the individual Joy Cons separately, they switched up the thing so you can get full sets. I didn't recognize that at launch until after the fact. I was like, gosh dang it! So I had a gray and a
yeah,
blue set instead of having like blue and red or whatever.
but yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah, so that's
Uh,
pretty good.
I have the Switch OLED with the white ones, and it's beautiful.
No, I'm still. I'm actually looking at my Joy-Con collection right now. I think I have a set of grays, a set of the original light blues, I had the Tears of the Kingdom limited edition ones. I had the Monster Hunter Rise limited edition ones, and I had the Splatoon 3 limited edition ones. I think, yeah, I have 5 sets of Joy-Cons. Reason why, I have absolutely no idea. Oh, but then again, I bought like a
Money.
couple. I bought a couple or a few different Switches that came with one, and then you knew I was going to get the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons because Skyward Sword one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games and
Yeah,
stuff. But
It's Skyward Sword. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so honestly, that's it in terms of like the quick little mini news drops right there. So nice stuff right there though. But speaking of Splatoon 3, we finally managed to get a release date for this stinking DLC. And it's actually gonna be coming out on February the 22nd though. So we don't have to wait too much longer, Steven, for this one though. Obviously, I was thinking this game was gonna come out in either March or April for the DLC, but to my shock and no surprise, Nintendo's like, nah, we got to keep y'all hungry for February because everybody else is throwing their food out on the table, so we might as well throw our stuff out there too. And I'm like, bruh, there's too much stuff going on in the month of February as it is already. I literally had to start off with Persona 3 Reload, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. We're having Honkai Star Rails version 2.0 with the Pentatoni, all of that stuff. All that stuff is getting dropped out literally tomorrow. Then I had over here Mario versus Donkey Kong. Now we got the side order DLC. And in the end off the month, you got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a potential game of the year right there. So I'm like, come on, y'all. This is ridiculous. Between January and February, man, I need March and April to be like real slow. I'm talking real slow, but like goodness.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. I mean, it's good, you don't have to worry about what not or what to play though, but at the same point, it's like, golly, you're just trying to balance all this stuff though. But I am really looking forward to this DLC. If it's anything like Octo Expansion, you're in for a wonderful time with this one though. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this out here. The second you're done with this DLC, you know how like you can go back and visit Inkopolis? I think you're gonna go back and visit the square once you're done with this DLC. I think that's your reward. It's not like they're gonna give
Yeah.
you a new character like the Octolings, like it was with Splatoon 2, but I think that will be your reward.
Without saying anything that I already know, that's a good assumption.
Yeah. I thought it kind of went without saying though, but yeah, I'll just throw that out there though. But
Yeah.
anything
It's like
else
the
you
most
want to
I was just gonna say it's the most like obvious secret. Like, come on, that would just make sense to be the reward.
Yeah, I mean, you got all the transits set up for, the traversal and you hopping around cities and stuff. Once they open up this area right now, or once they open up this area again, I ain't going back to Inkopolis and I ain't going back to the Splatoon 3 square. I'm staying right there at home. Splatoon 2 is where I started off my adventure with Splatoon. That's where I'm staying at. Obviously, I'll go back to 3 because, 3 looks cool and stuff, but there's really no need for me to go back to 1. 1 is like dead in the grave. for me personally though. But I'm
Dead
sorry
in
about
the
all the.
grave.
I,
Dead
I'm
in the grave's a bit of a step.
it is a bit of a step. I know I'm throwing shade over there to the people that originally liked the original Splatoon 1, but for me, all the hype is in 2 and 3. Like that's where the good stuff is. Like that's where
Well,
the game got real good.
okay,
I'm just saying.
I liked Splatoon 2, obviously, but like main power up really was stupid.
Hey man, there's still people that probably go back and play that game. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely going to go back and play the original Splatoon 1 before it shuts down and I don't know, maybe get in the habit of like when the game gets like a certain anniversary year, just firing it up and then just playing like Splatoon 2 just for a couple of rounds or so just to see what the status of the game still looks like. It'll be kind of funny.
There's hackers.
In Splatoon 2?
Yeah, of course there is. Come on,
Mm,
it's Nintendo. Of course
you're
there is.
probably right. Nah. Alright, but that's pretty much it for I think all of well, no, I say all the Nintendo news. Well, primarily Nintendo news. This one's kind of like a split Nintendo though, but we got to talk about it because you missed it last week, Steven. The whole Palworld discussion thing. I briefly talked about it before the
Fuck.
sales were getting like really high, but now it's getting dummy ridiculous. Oh shoot, I'm trying to pull up the most recent thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I've
it
been
sold 19
wondering what
million.
you thought. I've
Yeah,
been
it sold.
wondering what you've been thinking.
Ooh, yeah, because this thing sold 19 million, or not sold. Player base is 19 million, but in terms of sales, 12 million off of Steam, and 7 million was from Xbox people, via Game Pass and stuff. That's insane right there. And it got so crazy to the point where now, like, obviously, the Pokemon company had to come out and make a statement on it, basically saying, hey, there was a game that released out in the month of January. Obviously, they didn't want to actually say the name of the game and give it that recognition, though. But everybody and their mama already knew they were talking about, talking about Power World and stuff. But they basically said we have received inquiries regarding another company's game releasing in January 2024. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in the game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any facts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon in its world.
Stupid.
Okay, that wasn't it though. And work to bring the world together through Pokemon in the future. I like how everybody I listened to that ever talked about this quote right here from them, whether it's been in videos or stuff I might have seen on Twitter and stuff, they always coughed or laughed at that little segment where I did right there. So the whole,
It's so
national dex
stupid.
thing, it's real funny.
Well, no, it's not. I wasn't even gonna say the national dex thing. I was just gonna say like they clearly only put in that little section because the focus of Power World on guns, like the marketing behind that game heavily has guns, and you can only think about how many emails Pokemon Company got from scared mothers thinking, "Oh my God, why are you making this?" You know what I mean?
And the funny thing about this whole thing is this was showed off at Summer Game Fest in 2023. Rewind the clock all the way back to June.
This was
I
shown many years ago, Zard.
It
Not
was
just
shown
Summer
many
Games Fest.
years ago, but it was closer to completion in the most recent, where you could lay your eyes upon the project in terms of like where they were
Yeah.
close at was back at June. I'm surprised Nintendo slash really the Pokemon company didn't jump on this horse right then and there. Cause I mean, with a game like this, you think they would be, out at front. Cause we know the tendency of Pokemon and Pokemon company and stuff. Like these companies, shoot, they take down fan projects half the time though. So you would think even with a game that's trying to make money off of this stuff, like, holy shoot, you think they would have been on top of it? Because have you seen some of those Pokemon designs, Steven? Like some of those things are literally copy paste. Like there's no way they is literally a Pokemon, but some of these things are just literally reskin or recolored. Like you can't tell me. I see some comparisons, and this stuff is dumb, man.
Yeah, some of them are close. Like there's one that looks very similar to Cinderace, for example. But like on the other hand, there are some that people are really stretching for.
Oh, I got
Now, at least for
Alexis.
me, I think wait, what?
Oh no, go ahead. Finish your statement.
I was just gonna say, I think the Power World hate is extremely overblown. People thinking it's a Pokemon ripoff or this and that. It's a survival game. It takes inspiration from Pokemon, yeah. Like I'm not stupid enough to say that it wasn't inspired by Pokemon. They obviously wanted to take a bit of that Pokemon, take a bit of that Pokemon like inspiration with like having, especially from Legends Arceus. That game is very inspired by Legends Arceus. But I see people acting like it's like plagiarism, and some people even said it's AI, which no, it's not. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and
It's a
Alexis
perfectly
over here in the
harmless game.
comments, he said, "Power World sucks. It's just Minecraft, slapped with guns." Which, you know what? He's not necessarily wrong. Obviously, there's like a big component in the game is like art and you managing your resources and managing your pals in
Yeah, it's
terms of
very
them
similar to
doing a bunch
art.
of yeah. So I think it's more so that I think some people actually like that gameplay, believe it or not, in which case you don't really necessarily have to use these, look-alike pals that look like Pokemon. I think it could have found its audience, but obviously, if you didn't use the similar Pokemon designs, you probably weren't going to sell as many. And it's crazy. It's early access. It's not even officially out, which is so weird. But my gosh,
19 million. No, no, that's it's crazy how well it sold. A lot of people really I guarantee there's so many people that bought this game just to stick at the Pokemon company, which obviously it's not gonna. I genuinely don't think that Pokemon company's phased by this in the slightest.
I, they're not really, but at the same time, I think they're kind of because I think the time frame that it took for them to sell up to what was it, 12 million on Steam. And that was within how long was that? Shoot. Dang it. They didn't really give us a or you had to kind of do the math. I'm not sure exactly when that game officially launched though, but the fact that it sold 12 million and I would say in a very comparable
Yeah.
time frame with Legends Arceus. I think it's literally almost on the same scale as that, which is kind
Well,
of dumb.
I was just gonna say that, like, for example, like, I don't know, I feel like this is a one-time thing. They're not gonna make a Power World. I don't think Power World's gonna get a necessary, like, a resurgence or anything. Like, I liked it for the I liked it for the time I played it, but I've basically already almost checked out. But it was fun. Like, I got my $30 worth of stupid ass fun.
Oh, yeah, because
That's what
that's
I'll
what I
say.
was about to ask you on it. Because I was curious. I mean, once I heard how many copies this game has sold, it made me think, maybe I should just try it out just to see exactly what people were saying. I don't know, maybe just splurge the $30 and just buy it on Steam though. But then at the same point, there was literally 3 games that came out within the span of a week that I needed to get into, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna put this off." Who knows? They might work through the glitches and stuff. Because I mean, I heard some little things. Obviously,
It's not that
it's not, like,
bad
majorly
glitch-wise.
bad. I heard things where it was like, "Hey, the, version on the Xbox side, if you're doing it on Game Pass, via your console and stuff, it's a few updates behind what Steam is." So I'm like, "Hey, if I waited long enough and people were still clamoring about this thing by the end of the year, who knows? I coulda just popped a quick easy 30 on this thing after they did some more updates on it and when it got closer to an actual release launch just to see where people still kinda ride on the fence, though." But I do think it's just a little drop in the bucket because now that you have all these other games coming out, like a Dragon and all this stuff, I think, it's the fires are gonna start to settle down a little bit more.
No, I agree on one point, but on the other point, if I go to Steam DB right now, and this is like what 2 weeks after the game, the 24-hour peak for Power World was 1,315,000.
I think didn't that break records? Or I think
Yes,
was it
it is.
3rd
Well,
highest or is it
even even right now, as we speak, it is the most played game on Steam right now, beating Counter Strike, Dota, Baldur's Gate, Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Team Fortress 2. It is number one right now, and it has been for weeks. It's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah, I think this kinda shows that, you can have all the AAA companies, making all these games, and they're trying to make, like, live service games that just make a ton of money and stuff, but you're always gonna have some random idea that you just never know it's gonna blow up, like a Fortnite or something like that, Minecraft, you can't make this stuff up. They just blow up and then people just run with it though, so you can try to make a multi-million or multi-billion dollar game and a lot of time it ain't gonna stick. And then the things you don't stick
Yeah.
just happen to stick though. So
Also,
it just be kind of curious to see how it goes from here.
it is nice that the game also doesn't look like complete trash compared to something like Scarlet and Violet. I mean, visually, of course. Like visually, Palworld is quite nice. It's got nice graphics. It has a consistent frame rate for me on PC. You know what I mean? I think a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people have just been exhausted with Pokemon recently, so this was a perfect outlet to just try something similar. And also, this is on PC. Like when games are on PC, they're just infinitely more accessible. Like, okay, why not download? Well, why not get Palworld?
Yeah.
It's not full priced or anything.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why it sold so much is because it's not a 60 or a $70 game. But yeah, I think that
It's
kind of really
also
helped.
one thing I think that's gonna keep it alive for a lot longer. It's not necessary. It's not a live service nonsense fest. You know, it's a single player game with optional multiplayer servers. It's something that people can still enjoy by themselves.
Yeah, and then even Alexis, he's over here saying, "Bro, I'd rather play Minecraft." No,
Well,
you're
me
not wrong.
too.
You're
But
not
like
wrong.
it's. I think it's good to have different game. Different competition. I guess would be the right word. I don't know. I
Yeah.
do agree. I would rather play Minecraft most days.
But yeah, I think that's all I have, at least for now, to get off my chest. Now, if this thing breaks any more records, or we hear something else, or Pokemon Company decides to, you know, make a move or something like that, then we'll report on
They're
that
not
in the
making. They're not
future.
making a
They
move.
shouldn't because it already sold this much. And if they do, well, they got to make an example somehow out of them to make sure no other companies comes up and does this. And who knows if Power gets this much success, they made this much money if they try to make a sequel in the future, well, you don't want them to, take more things from your Pokemon designs and stuff like that. Some way they're gonna have to make an example, or they might just have a meeting with them, just a personal meeting, like, hey, get up in this room. Got all these black suits and stuff. And it's like, all right,
Well,
look, we're gonna
yeah,
let this
but like
slide though, but next time we're gonna come after your throat. You take these
no, but
designs.
that's the thing though. Legally, Pokemon Company can't do shit. They're not. Then Pokemon Company does not actually care Zard unless they're literally using Pikachu and any other Pokemon.
Mm,
That's the thing. That's
yeah.
why shit. It's true. Why like that's why stuff like Temtem and Koromon can exist and they don't get taken down.
I think they
Things that
don't
are
care
much more
until
similar to
that much
Pokemon.
money gets associated and that
That
much
doesn't
reputation.
matter.
Feel like that. I mean,
That
because that's the reason why they came out and made this statement right here and didn't say nothing about those other two games that you just
well,
mentioned.
Well, because there wasn't as much of a dumpster fire about those games.
Hey,
It doesn't matter the contents of the game. Nintendo knows about other types of games. That's why they go after like Pokemon fan games as well, because they're using Pokemon like the literal Pokemon logo.
I
They
mean, yeah,
really only care about if it's their intellectual property. I don't think that's
and it
not
was
even
kind of
really a
funny
hot
because
take.
they did manage to take down a mod for Power World that literally put Pokemon up in the game. Like they
That's
were
what I'm
quick,
saying.
they were quick on the
That
trigger for that.
well,
They
that's
made
see
sure for
that
that.
isn't that proof right there? Like they're not gonna take down Palworld itself. They're only gonna take down stuff that infringes on their actual copyright. Palworld's safe, and it had no people had no reason to even worry, like necessarily.
All right, and then I got one more comment from Alexis, and we'll roll this over to the next thing though. But he said, bro, don't bust a shield move. Um, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, bro, don't bust a shield move. Because
Oh my
of
Christ!
something about Joe Merrick, I guess, is busting are because it's not looking good for Game Freak. I mean, yeah, and shoot, actually, no,
But
I
what
didn't have.
happened with Joe Merrick? What the fuck?
I have no idea. I have to dig that up. I really, honestly, don't have no idea though. I mean, I didn't even think about checking his tweets with all of this other stuff though. But it does kind of remind me. Have you seen those posts from the Pokemon account? Like they had Zakrom and Reshiram running across the screen.
Oh God, don't
And
remind
I
me.
saw I
People.
saw those and they posted one on February 1st for Zakrom. And at first I gotta say this because it's my month, Black History Month. I was like, no, they did not put Zakrom on this thing
That
for Black
no, come
History
no.
Month. It was on February 1st. That's the first thing that popped in my mind. I wasn't thinking about remakes or nothing else. That was funny. Then I saw Reshiram on the next day. I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh no, they ain't
Yeah.
teasing no remakes, are they? I was like, no, not after Brilliant
No, they're
Diamond and
not.
Shining Pearl. They can't do that.
They're not. It was probably just, Gen 5 nostalgia baiting.
Yeah, they probably are. I don't think it's nothing more than that. But then again, we're gonna
Bro,
have
I
a
don't know.
Pokemon Presents at the end of this month on February 27th. So who knows what they'll
Is that
announce or
confirmed?
they always
Is
do
that where,
those. They always did do those Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day. It's been without fail for at least the
that's
past
true.
4 or 5 years. So
I forgot that Pokemon literally has a day now.
yeah, so we'll see what they happen to drop like that. All right, I'm burned out on this stuff, man. We'll
Yeah,
probably
see,
talk
that's what
about it.
Pokemon does to a motherfucker.
I don't know, man. I'm tired of this, man. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I still haven't recovered, man. All right. Ooh, okay. I don't want to dig up this old grave, so we're gonna roll this thing over to the next thing, though. Ooh, all right. So, Stephen, I know you probably heard about all these layoffs and stuff. It's January, man, and then
Uh,
game companies that they make all this money, but they're like, nah, man, we're gonna have to cut y'all loose. I'm like, bro, what the heck, man? Literally, I think in January alone, two different people, Xbox, who literally just bought, Division Blizzard, they laid off a whole bunch of people, as well as I think it was the Embracer Group. They laid off a whole bunch of people too. And if you were to go back and look at 2023, they laid off a whole bunch of people in that year. And it just kind of makes you think, like, dang, it's like, y'all make this much money. Why the heck are y'all laying this many people off? And I just think it's those ballooning budgets on these games. Like, they just ain't managing stuff just right. And even then, you think some people maybe at the higher ups could take like a little bit of a cut just so to make sure everybody else on the bottom, gets fed and gets the resources they need. But it's unfortunate.
yeah.
Oh, goodness, man. You know,
Oh, I just thought another. I don't know. I know we're already. Sorry to change the subject, but Smash 3DS and Wii U are also going down.
oh, that was a couple of games you forgot to mention earlier for the
Yeah.
online. Yeah, I knew I
Yeah,
was
but
about to
like,
mention one too. Yeah, that was the other one.
but yeah, on the topic of gaming layoffs, these companies are stupid. This is what happen. Yeah, this is what happens when you like build a pillar too big for yourself. You fall off. Like you make live, you spend 300 million on live service game, another 200 million on advertisements that suck, this and that. While indie games, games like Palworld that had a very probably a significantly lower budget, like maybe like 2 million, three. Okay, no, that's far too low for a game nowadays. Let's just say that Palworld had a budget of 50 million. I think that's fair. Look at how much money that game has already made.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing too. That's all digital sales. They weren't worrying about a retail release where the retailer has to take a cut. They have to put this stuff on either cartridges or disc or whatever though. So they were maximizing on every potential dollar amount they could get. Mm. But yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate. Hearts out to all of those that have lost jobs this early in the year. Maybe
Yeah.
people that might have relocated to get these jobs. It just kind of seems like this gaming sphere that we're in terms of just the industry. It seems unstable whenever you look at stuff and hear about stuff. Because you can only imagine you move all the way out there to California to work for Xbox or something like that, and then they go ahead and lay you off. I think some of it and I heard little things about this how some of it might have been tied with Xbox physical media, which I didn't even have a segment on this though, but I think they're phasing that stuff out. We heard about the reports about them, pulling copies from Walmart stores for what was it? Starfield. So laying off like potentially laying off a whole bunch of people that might have been working in the physical distribution center or something like that, working all the logistics with the retailers and all of that stuff. Because like if you're not doing selling physical media, that's a whole department you can possibly get rid of. But you think you will, relocate those to like people that could, do social media stuff, or relocate them in a department where they could possibly, bring some benefit to the company. But they could not do that. I don't know. It's just really unfortunate though. But I think that's
Yeah.
all like, we had to say on that. But it's pretty straightforward, but a little bit unfortunate. A little unfortunate. All right, Steven. Now we're gonna flip the corner over here a little bit. Now we're to the fun stuff. Did you watch that recent Sony State of Play?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was making sure because I can't remember last time we brought this up, and I can't remember if you managed to sit down and watch it or if there was anything that resonated with you though. But we did manage to get a lot of stuff revealed off in this show. There's stuff in here, and then there was some stuff that was kind of a little bit so-so-y. I don't know, but I'm trying to pull up my little list over here because it was a 45-minute presentation, and gosh dang, they managed to stick a whole bunch of stuff up in here though.
Yeah, this one wasn't that bad. I'll give them that. I usually don't like these. I usually fucking hate these, in fact. I think they're the most boring thing. I only watched them for the Five Nights at Freddy's stuff, which wasn't here this time, obviously, so I was a little hesitant.
Yeah.
It's not even a joke. They usually, like, I don't know if it's some kind of contract they have. They always have, like, FNAF stuff in these presentations. But nope, not this time.
All right, so I got the list up here, so we'll roll by these one by one. First up was Helldivers 2. Felt like I've seen enough of that game. I don't know if it's gonna blow up or take off a lot of people. I really don't honestly think so. I mean,
I know a couple
mhm,
people that are very excited for it. That's
dang.
all I'll say.
All right. Well, we'll see what they have to say on that. Next up, this was one of the, I think, three games I was excited to see more information on. I don't know if I get it at launch date, but I'll probably pick it up a little later down the road. That is Stellar Blaze. This is essentially the Bayonetta equivalent for Sony over here because this is not originally one of their IPs, but they happen to put a lot of funding behind the studio because if you were to look up Stellar Blade whenever it was called something else before this, the game looked rough. The game looked rough, but I think since then they got all the extra funds, support from Sony. I think they even put some of their developers to help, go hands on with this studio. Now it's looking really promising. The game is coming out on April 26th. It looks really clean. It looks very similar to your kind of combat, such as your Bayonettas and stuff, or your Devil May Cries and stuff. So I'm definitely have my eye out on this one though. But you got anything to say on this one, Steven?
I thought it looked cool.
All right,
That's
all
about
right.
it.
Next up, this is the game number 2 out of 3. Sonic Generations. I like how 80% of this stuff
Yeah.
leaked, like, before this presentation even aired. So I
Not
knew a good chunk.
all of it did. All of it did.
Well, I saw 80%. There's some stuff on here I didn't know about or I didn't see originally on that list, unless they did another thing right before the drop, but felt like it was
Yeah.
80% of this stuff. And Sonic Generations was one of the things because it was funny because I think Steam was doing a sale for Sonic games in general, and everybody's like, dang, y'all didn't discount Sonic Generations. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But yeah, this game's
Yeah.
coming out autumn 2024. It has your basic Sonic Generation stuff, but they're adding in my boy over here, Shadow, with his own exclusive levels and stuff. I think they're basically new levels, but they're inspired by, things of older past. I think you'll get some stuff from Sonic Adventure 2. I think you'll get some stuff from, Shadow the Hedgehog, that game. I did pick that up on the GameCube. That game is kind of funny. But yeah, so it's some really cool stuff. So even if you had Sonic Generations earlier, it could warrant people to say, hey, you might want to pick up this remake, remaster, whatever they're calling this thing. Got anything to say on this, Steven?
I'm excited. That's about it. I'm excited. Of
Are you gonna pick this game up?
course I am.
I'm thinking about it. Even though I have the original one on Steam already, I think I probably will get it. I just don't know if it will be at launch. Kind of
It's
depends on what
such
else
a
is
good
coming
game.
around. Depends on,
It's
other stuff coming
yeah.
around, but yeah.
Sonic Generations is such a good game.
All
I will
right.
buy this game no matter how many times they re-release it. I am a shill for this game. I am absolutely a shill for this game. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Whew. All right, let's see here. What else we got? After that, they got Zenless Zone Zero, which
Never
that's
heard of it.
basically Hoyo versus next game. You heard of Genshin Impact, and gosh
Ah,
by
fucking
golly, you
Christ.
heard about Honkai Star Rail as much as I talk about that
Ah,
game.
Christ.
So this is their next thing, and it's like their action-based game. So leave it up to Hoyoverse to always come up with some other new idea or some other genre, and it somehow takes off. We'll try the game out, give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not much of a Genshin person. Honkai Star Rail is my jam. It's literally like up there with Splatoon 3 in terms of like consistent games I keep going back and playing. I'm definitely looking forward to that 2.0 update that's coming out literally tomorrow though. But This one is weird because they said now in development for PS5, even though I think in the last state of play that happened around the fall time, um, I think they said the same thing then. That kind of confused me, but I was like, okay. But I think that game's gonna drop sometime this year. Probably drop for PC and mobile first, and then PS5 later. But yeah, I guess they were just trying to remind everybody on that. Let's see, what next? Phone Stars. That's coming out on February 6th. Steven, are you gonna be playing that game?
No,
Why not, man? I need someone to play this game with.
looks boring. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Now, the reason why I
Just
say to play this with is because apparently it's coming to PlayStation Plus as the February game of the month. Otherwise, I would not be paying for this. So I'm like, well, if it's included in my subscription based service, I might as well just try it out just to see what it looks like.
yeah,
This is like a
I get that.
Splatoon skin lookalike, but Square Enix's spin.
It looks interesting, but like looks can be deceiving. So no, screw
Mm.
you, Square Enix. I'm not falling into a battle pass live service fuckeroni that's gonna be canceled in 2 months.
I don't
I'm
know about a
not.
few months, but
I'm
I
not.
give it a year. I give it a year. I give it a year. My
I'm.
bet's a
I'm
year.
just. But yeah, I'm not falling for it. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my money. It's not worth my energy to even think about this game. That
Yeah.
might sound harsh because it is, but it's true.
Oh goodness. Oh, I missed Alexis's comment. He said I can't play Hoyoverse. Too much grinding. You know what? I would say you're technically right. You're technically right. The reason why I like Honkai Star Rail is because the grinding in that game is not nearly as bad with it being a turn base, and it's not like an open world like Genshin. Genshin, you have to run around all over the place. At least with Honkai Star Rail, you get your save points. You go from like point A to point B. I think that's the reason why I like that game better than versus Genshin Impact. It's a little more it respects your time a lot more than Genshin. That's the only reason why Honkai Star Rail stuck with me versus something like a Genshin Impact. But we'll see about this what Zenless Zone Zero. All right, what we got next, Steven? Dave the Diver. Godzilla is coming in the game. Is that enough to make you buy this game now?
Kind of looks cool. I'll admit. I don't know. I don't give a shit about Godzilla, but Dave the Diver though, it's looking cool. That's all I'll
Oh,
say.
oh, goodness, no, yeah, no, I don't really care about Dave the Diver. It was just interesting they had that collab with Godzilla out of all things.
It's
I was not
unexpected. Yeah.
expecting that in the show. I was like, what is this? Oh goodness.
No,
All right.
I thought it was cool. Like I don't yeah, like I said, I don't know anything about Dave the Diver, but you know, I'm always been like it's been one of those games. Yeah, I heard it was good. I always heard it was good, but like it wasn't a game that I was interested in trying.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll give it a try soon because of this.
All right. Let's see here. Next up we have V Rising. I could honestly say nothing about this game. I know it's a down something. I had no comment in my notes when I was doing this mess. No comment.
No comment.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you too much outside of it was a top down game. It just did not speak to me at all.
Which
Um,
game?
V Rising, that's what it's called.
Oh, I literally don't even remember. Yeah,
See,
that's a
that's
good
why I'm
sign.
telling you.
That's a good sign. Yeah.
All right, and then we entered the Silent Hill part of the show, though.
Oh,
The first
fucking
thing
yeah.
they mentioned was the Silent Hill, the short message, which interestingly enough, that's a free to play game. Have you dabbled with that at all?
No,
I
I
haven't
haven't
either.
turned on my PS5 in a while.
I haven't either. But I imagine fans of the series, they might have gone crazy about it. But I didn't hear really super positive things, but it's hard to be negative about something that's for free. So I mean, I guess it is what it is. Next up was Silent Hill 2. Now we got another trailer for that. They did not give us a release date. It's still to be announced, but I'm hoping if it does drop out this year, maybe shoot for that October window, maybe November. We'll see though. But the stuff is looking interesting. Obviously, if you like games like Resident Evil and stuff, it'll probably will speak to you. But for everything I'm seeing up in this trailer, the game seems solid to me. Let's see here.
Yeah, I'll
All right.
admit, like I said, I said I liked the state of play, but I really didn't like half of this shit. It was just the stuff that I liked, I really liked.
Okay. Let's see. After that, um, we had a few games I could not really say much about. Oh, this is where we entered into the no, no, no. Judas was basically next. That was like the BioShock inspiration game.
It's
That's
it's literally just BioShock made by the team
the
behind BioShock.
yeah. Which I
It's
never
like
went through and
yeah.
played those games, so I can't really say much about it. But it looks cool outside
Well,
looking
I've heard
in.
very
I
high
yeah
regards. I
yeah.
don't know about you, but I've heard extremely positive things about the BioShock games.
No, I heard good stuff too. I just never got around to doing it. I'll have to pick that game up on PC or something if I ever mess around with it. But yeah, heard good things about it. Just never had the time to invest in it. Okay, now next, these two games were on the PlayStation VR 2 side of things. One was Metro Awakening VR. That one looked okay. I mean, if I had a PSVR 2, I might have been curious about this one, but I don't, so it doesn't really affect me too much. Did you have something to say on that one, Steven?
It really just looks like any other
VR game.
game.
All right.
Yeah, I guess that yeah, any other VR. It really does look like any other VR game in the
Yeah.
most like easy way I could possibly say that.
All right. But this next one, though, it was called Legendary Tales. Now, this game right here, look, is the definition of crusty right here. I said this when I was doing my state of play wrap up video that I dropped on the channel. Y'all can check that out just to hear my, my raw takes, right off the show. I literally said that's the definition of crusty right there because, like, oh shoot, like there was one part of the little trailer where the dude picked up a skeleton head, right, and started punching at it. I was like, what the heck? This dude just
That
picked up
game's
the.
that yeah, that looked awesome. It was it's supposed to like I'm sure it's supposed to like look like Skyrim, like old Skyrim.
It's supposed to, but I mean, to me, it looked kind of crusty. I mean, in comparison to the
Well,
previous
it's a
game that they just
yeah.
showed up, I'm like, I don't know.
Well, yeah,
It
well
just
that I
wasn't
think that's
doing
just
me
the
any
art
favors.
style.
I don't know.
Well,
It
here's the
wasn't doing
thing.
me any
No,
favors.
here's the thing. I think specifically for VR, that would probably give you a goddamn headache. But like, it looks cool,
Mhm.
personally.
Dang. All right. Let's see what's next. All right, finally we got to some good stuff, Steven. Dragon's Dogma 2. So we know that that's Capcom's next game that's going to drop out. March 22nd is going to be a busy day right there because we already had Princess Peach Showtime. Now Capcom's coming out with their game with Dragon's Dogma 2. That's coming out on the same day though. The game looks cool. I don't know if I'll be a fan of this gameplay, just kind of looking at the trailers though, but I know a lot of fans are going to probably eat this up though. But it looks
Now,
cool.
Dragon's Dogma is one of those games where I've heard so much about it as well. It's another one of those situations where it is a game that is so high regarded by so many people.
So yeah, we got that one. And then I here's number 3 for me. The number 3 game that I was really excited for seeing in the show, Rise of the Ronin. Obviously this is basically like if Ghost of Tsushima and Assassin's Creed had a baby, this is literally the game right here. And obviously I'm not the biggest Assassin's Creed fan though, but I do like kind of watching that stuff from time to time, just stuff you can do out in the open world and stuff. But I do love myself some Ghost of Tsushima, and this is the closest game we got to it, I think, since that game has came out. And I definitely have my eye out on this game. I definitely will be probably picking this up at some point. I don't think it'll be on launch date. It'll probably be one of those games I'll pick up later on, maybe towards the tail end of the year though. But from everything I saw with the combat and stuff, like there was like one sick moment where the dude was walking or running, and there was this dude on the tower, and he slung out his I don't even know what weapon you will call it though, but chain whips essentially, like Castlevania style. Yeeted this dude off the tower and swung him down to the ground, and then just started hacking and slashing on this dude. I was like, what the heck? I was like, that looked cool to me. But man, I liked everything I saw up in the trailer, at least for this one though. So I definitely have my eye out on this one though. But you got anything to say about that one, Steven?
No,
Man, I thought you were gonna say it was gonna at least look cool. At least give me a bone to throw, man. Like that was like one of the 3 good announcements up in this gosh dang show.
I know. I beg to disappoint.
Bruh. Okay, well we'll keep it rolling now. Next up we
Wait,
had
did
wait,
you
what?
mention? I'm sorry. Did you mention Silent Hill 2 remake?
Yeah, I already talked about that.
Okay, I think I might have just heard you talk about the short message. Sorry.
All right. And then after Rise of the Ronin, Until Dawn, that's gonna be a remake right there. Can't remember exactly which system this was originally on. Was it PS3 or
PS4.
PS4? No, I was about to say PS3. You know anything about that series, Steven? Because I don't really know much of anything.
It's very cinematic, story based, exactly what you expect from a PS4 game.
Dang. Okay.
It's really, yeah, it's really
Wait, but
basic.
who are the ones that made Until Dawn?
I don't remember their names. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, Supermassive Games. Okay. Yeah, because I was like the way how people were talking about it, I was almost thinking first party. I was like, nah, but that ain't first party. Nah. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking though. Alrighty. So that was almost it in terms of mostly announcements. And then you got to the tail end of the show. And this is where things got interestingly bad, confusing, but yet hopeful and exciting all at the same time. If that made any sense of what I just said right there. Death
Kinda.
Stranding 2, obviously you had Kojima came out with a trailer that was way too long for its own good. And I
It
was
was
looking at
funny
this,
though.
it was funny, but weird and disgusting at the same time. Like you saw the way how that trailer started off, Steven. Like they were
Yeah.
dissecting this dude on a hospital bed or whatever though, and all this
Yeah, but
black ink coming out of it. I was like, ugh,
yeah, but better question, why is he blue?
I don't know. This is Kojima we're talking about, man. I'm tired of making sense out of his games, man. This is ridiculous. But obviously, the baby's back. This dude, I guess, apparently, in the first game, we're messing around with stuff in the North American content. Now it's like he's going to other parts of the world and trying to, deal with this, mass crisis event that's happening to the world and stuff like that. Outside looking in, me looking at this trailer, it made absolutely no sense. I guess it would have made more sense for people that would sit down and play through Death Stranding. I looked at the stuff. I was trying to see if I was interested in that game at first. And I was like, nah, this is just too weird for me. This is even weirder than I thought Shin Megami Tensei series was weird. And then Kojima came out with this mess. I was like, all right, Shin Megami Tensei series. I'm sorry, but at least y'all stuff actually makes somewhat a little bit of sense. But this right here, I just honestly don't know. But yeah, if fans are looking forward to this game, it will be coming out in 2025 though.
I
Now,
expected that.
yeah. Now the interesting thing is, outside of that announcement, this is where stuff I started really liking about the show. But he actually what was it? Kojima came out on the show and he actually came out and said on show, on the stage, whatever you want to call it. And he literally came out and said thought he was gonna, talk in person like those developer, updates and stuff. I thought he was gonna talk about more about Death Stranding too. He didn't, thank goodness. But he came out and talked about and saying, "Hey, there's this spiritual successor for Metal Gear Solid, aka the next generation action espionage game, will be coming out some point after Death Stranding 2, but we can look forward to it." So basically, Metal Gear Solid fans, you can rejoice. We're finally going to get something akin to it, though. Now, the way how he described it in terms of like the not user face, the interactive experience, I guess, closest thing to it. It made it seem like
Veil.
this is definitely gonna be really close to like the traditional Sony style games with a lot of movie cinematic experiences and stuff like that. I mean, he even has the support of PlayStation. They gave him some resources with some, movie making stuff, but obviously, some stuff with the PlayStation Studios as well, though. So it's definitely going to be a game exclusive on the PlayStation platform, though. So think this game ain't gonna come out until like 2027, 2028. Honestly, Steven, this might be a PS6 game by the time it comes out because he announced this now. Death Stranding doesn't come out till 2025. And if it's like another 3 years after that, it could be like a launch game or very close to it though. But
Yeah.
are you excited about this announcement or you're just kind of like, well, we just gotta wait until we actually see what this thing looks like?
Well, yeah, basically that.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
yeah.
It's probably, I don't know. He's saying he's working very hard on it, and this is like an anniversary game for him, kind of. Which, like, I don't know. Looks, it's a interesting premise. We'll see. I don't know. Kojima's cool and all, but like, I don't know. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's as crazy as everyone always thinks he is.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't think yeah.
Especially because like the original Death Stranding looked boring. It looked so boring. I didn't get how anyone liked that game.
Yeah, no, I honestly don't. I feel like Kojima kind of lost his touch, but we'll see whenever he does his Metal Gear Solid inspiration game though. So I think that's the proof in the pudding. If that game comes out and it ain't up to the snuff of people that really love the Metal Gear Solid fans, Metal Gear Solid people that really love that series, if they play that game and they don't really like this, then he probably just completely lost his touch. So we'll have to wait and see on this one though. But between this and Death Stranding 2, obviously that future project is looking a little more promising than Death Stranding 2, at least for me personally. But we'll have to wait and see on that though. And one of my most favorite announcements, even though it's not necessarily a game that's coming out, well, it is a game that's coming out here fairly soon, but it is none other than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is getting its own presentation for a state of play that's going to be coming out. Oh, it was about a week after the original state of play was set. So on February the 6th. So in 2 days from now, literally on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. They're gonna be coming out with a presentation solely directed towards that. Part of me says tune in and figure out and see what they want to say and show about the game. Who knows? We might get a shadow drop of a demo on that game. I mean, if it were to
Usually.
happen, it probably would be announced then.
Yeah, like I'd say for a game like that, like I don't know, like probably don't even watch it because if there are surprises, they're gonna like start to show them.
Yep. And
Or like
that was the other half I
that's
was
what.
gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's my take. Is I wouldn't even watch it.
I mean, I'm already sold on it, so I'm like, part of me says watch it just to make sure. But then again, if something really important was announced in that show, like, well, we already know about deluxe and collector's edition, so I don't even have to worry about that. But if like something like a demo or something like that, it's gonna be blasted out on Twitter. Wario64, he's gonna say a tweet, and I'm gonna wind up catching it there. But yeah. So if you're not sold on this game yet, you can look forward to that presentation. Though I might tune in for a couple minutes and then dip out. But yeah, so honestly, some cool stuff on the horizon, but that basically concluded the whole state of play right there. Steven, if you were to give it a ranking, a letter, well, we'll say a letter grade. Where do you rank this state of play?
I'd give it a 6.
A 6 out of 10? Wait, no, no, I said a letter grade. Man, I like how I
Oh
say one
fuck!
thing and then you turn around and say another thing, bro.
I'm sorry. I heard something completely different. All right, letter grade B.
A B, okay. I would
B
say
minus.
B minus. See, no, it's either a C plus or a B minus. Oh,
Sonic Generation saved it for me.
all right, I'll say B minus because that Stellar Blade and that Rise of the Ronin and the Sonic generation stuff with Shadow. Shadow's probably the thing that brought it up over the edge. It might have been a C plus. I think Shadow, he has enough edge on him. He brought it up to the
Yeah,
B minus.
yeah. He went. I
Uh
am all of me, and then everyone fucking screamed.
all right. But yeah.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the shadow thing. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
just gonna be some SA2 inspired levels and some Shadow the Hedgehog stuff because you saw one of those black creatures. You
yeah.
saw one of
Yeah.
those.
Stuff. Yeah, it's definitely Shadow the Hedgehog inspired. Of all the things, we know for a fact that Shadow the Hedgehog, like the game, is a heavy inspiration.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm
Kind of
kind
wish
of
they would
interested.
re-release that game. Like they got to give that game another go.
Then they're never gonna do that.
Oh, man, come on, man, give my Shadow a bone, man. All right, but
They did. They gave it multiple.
yeah, but they're primarily, I think one of the reasons why that they're doing this is because they're adding that Shadow stuff is because we had the movie coming out December later this year. So this is that one game that's kind of tying into it and just kind of making sure say, hey, everybody, this is Shadow. He's about to be in the movie. Even after the movie has released, hey, go back and play Sonic Generations. You can get a little bit of Shadow action up in here. So I think
Yeah.
that's the main reason why we're seeing this stuff up in here. So it's cool nonetheless. But
Yeah, no, they definitely just don't want to put the resources in to make like an actual Shadow game
yeah.
before the release.
Yeah, so that's basically it though. So yeah, I'll give it a solid B minus. So overall, I think they did better in the state of play. I still feel like they need to conclude the events a little bit better because I felt like I was enjoying the show for the most part, but then I felt like they dropped it off on the side of the cliff at the very tail end moment though. That's just how I kind of felt with the show though. But not too bad, but yet could always do better. But I think that's all we have to say on the state of play. So we'll roll it over here to the last major gaming topic that I had up here for tonight. That being, have you heard those reports, Steven, about those Xbox games potentially coming over to PlayStation?
No. I have not.
All right, so this was literally something that was breaking out literally today as I was trying to prepare all of this stuff up and trying to get the podcast ready though. So consider this y'all's little bit of breaking news for today though. I ain't usually this fast on the news though, but apparently according to Xbox Era, Microsoft plans on Starfield launching for the PlayStation 5 post release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC. And Microsoft had made additional investments into the PlayStation 5 dev kits to support ongoing development reports. It's also, we heard some stuff about High Five Rush is planning to release on rival platforms, tentatively planned on for quarter one of 2024, and expect Microsoft to make more public announcement on this new strategy this month. So that's the latest hot scoop on this developing story right now. Obviously, if you're somebody that's like an Xbox shill or the Xbox out there,
Oh my
you know,
goodness.
those people on Twitter, they're pretty, outspoken. They're really upset about this, like the new strategy where Xbox could be leaning into in terms of them basically what feels like they're going multi-plat. Like they're just trying to get their games out there on any out of every devices. Obviously, you have stuff out there already, such as like your Minecraft and stuff like that, where it made sense to put that out there for everybody. People are content about that. But to have other things like High Five Rush and your big major seller Starfield, especially after considering how you're pulling Starfield out of retail space, and then you're blasting it and putting it out there on other platforms as well. Like I don't know, for a lot of diehard Xbox fans, it's been kind of rubbing them the wrong way. But what do you think about all that?
Apparently, Indiana Jones was also part of this list from what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so that one it wouldn't be necessarily like maybe on the actual release date because they're shooting for a window of December, as that's what's going around according to these reports, though. However, the Indiana Jones thing probably wouldn't be coming out for PlayStation 5, you know, at launch, but it'd probably be like a few months later though. So basically the strategy of how like PlayStation is putting their games on PC and usually within like a year or two it might come to PC. Xbox is kind of doing the same thing, but trying to put it on PlayStation platforms as well. But it might be even sooner than like a year. It might be like 3 to 6 months or something like that. So it's interesting seeing this
Interesting,
strategy
yeah.
from Xbox. It kind of just goes to show that they don't either have a lot of confidence within, the consoles they're selling, or slash or they're just really trying to move over and just trying to get their brand and their ecosystems. Like Xbox Game Pass is the name in the game. Like, I heard so many things about, obviously we heard about Starfield pulling copies out of retail spaces. Even when you go into, gaming spaces and stuff, where it be Best Buy, Target, Walmart, or what else is out there? I was about to say Toys R Us. We don't have that no more. But
We
most places,
we do.
I mean, technically, but it's not like, what it used to be. Not like it
Yeah.
was like 2017, like when the Switch dropped. Like that, that was a different era then though.
Not my Toys R Us.
But you used to see a lot of big Xbox showcases or I said showcases, places where they had like a whole bunch of games laid out. And I'm just noticing with a lot more retailers, they're shrinking down on the size of games that you can buy physically, especially with Xbox games, since those just don't sell that much. Like, why would they when you push Game Pass out so much to where it's like, hey, on day and day, if you have Game Pass, you can play Starfield, you can play Indiana Jones, you can play all of these games when they first release on Xbox Game Pass day one. It really doesn't give a lot of reason for people to buy those games out physically, unless you're just a diehard for the fan, diehard diehard fan, should I say, for the game series, whatever, or you just really want to own that piece of media though. But for most people, it's crazy how many people have Xbox Game Pass. And then, you put that thing out there on PC, televisions, you're trying to get that out on phone, you're pushing that out with cloud and stuff.
They're dipping their hands into a lot of different technology. I don't
So
know if all of it's gonna work, but they're certainly trying.
I think they're trying to play the long game, which is nice. But, at the same point, I just don't know how in the world they're profitable off of Game Pass. You got to think. I was like, I'm just, I guess it's somehow working, but just thinking about it and just reflecting back on it, I'm like, how the heck they're able to turn a profit on this where it's actually sustainable? I honestly don't understand how they managed to pull that off somehow, but I don't know. I guess it's somehow working for them.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Yeah, but yeah. So honestly, I think that's pretty much it in terms of the major game news announcements that I had up in here. So now we'll go ahead and transition over into the next segment, that being what you've been playing. All right, so I switched it up. Usually I'll be talking about that show, but given how there was a major release that just recently came out, I actually wanted to switch the topics around a little bit though. So just experimenting with the flow of things right here though. But we do know a major game that just came out, and I have to talk about this. Yes, we're talking about Persona 3 Reload. Like I've been playing this game, I say nonstop, not really nonstop. I had managed to put about right before this podcast when I was playing, I got about 12 hours into this like launch weekend. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I put about 12 hours in the game. So I'm ready to go ahead and give out my opening impressions though. But Steven, you know about the Persona series, right?
I know the basics.
The basics. But you never sat around and played like Persona 5 Royal, right?
No, I have Persona 5 technically because of PS Plus.
No, no, don't do it. If you were to do it, you might as well just put the time in the Royal. If you want to see the Royal stuff, then yeah, don't mess around with
Yeah,
the
but like
vanilla. Because I
I
think you
don't
can get
even
Royal.
know what
It
the
goes on sale for like $20, but yeah,
yeah, but like if you don't even know what the difference is, it doesn't necessarily matter, does it?
I'm telling you, man, you might as well just get the enhanced version. But anyway, though, I was just kind of picking your brain because I'm about to go on it's about to be like a 10-minute tangent on this thing
Hey,
though.
you
But
go.
all right, so Persona 3 Reload. I managed to pick this up on Friday. I managed to get the collector's edition for this game. Already on the channel, you can check out my unboxing video for it though. It's there on the channel, so that way you can go ahead and check out what all the goodies that's up in that though. But I've been having a blast with this game. It's a little bit different, obviously, than your Persona 5. Obviously, with this being Persona 3, I think this is really like the turning point for the series in terms of them kind of, spreading out and having Persona as a brand build. Obviously, Persona 5 is what blew the lid off the cap. So now a lot of people, such as myself, is going back and experiencing Persona 3 as well as Persona 4, though. But with Persona 3, I can tell they made a lot of good advancements, at least with this series overall, because obviously you have some new voice actors coming up in here and they went back and changed some of the musical soundtracks and stuff. The big thing in question for a lot of people was the fact that were people wondering where's this going to stand, because Persona 3 in general, you had the vanilla version already. That was just the basic one back in the, I believe it was the PS2 era. Yeah, roughly around there. um you had the vanilla Persona 3. You had Fez, which is basically your equivalent of like a Persona 4 Golden or a Persona 5 Royal that added additional stuff to the game. Then you had Persona 3 Portable, which literally had the introduction of the female character. So it was a female main protagonist that you're able to play the game as well as introducing, some unique tracks to that version of the game. You can actually buy Persona 3 Portable on like Switch, PlayStation, and all of that stuff. However, with Reload, they basically took the vanilla version of 3, incorporated minor parts of Fez, not a lot of parts, just, some things and some other unique things because like originally I think in Fez you couldn't control your party members, but in Portable you could. So they took some elements from Portable, like you can control your units and stuff like that. Obviously it's not like going to play like a visual novel game like Portable in terms of just going around exploring the world and stuff. So yeah, running around the city and stuff, it feels very akin and similar to running around the world and stuff in Persona 5 Royal. Obviously, the major draw with Persona games is literally you going around having these relationships with your friends and stuff. You're trying to balance a social life as a high school student, going around, having school activities, socializing with different people, going out on dates and all of this stuff. So a lot of things on the social element side. And then you have the combat side of things where, the whole persona aspect comes up into play because literally you're going around fighting shadows. You're actually exploring this big old, it's like a dungeon crawler kind of thing within Tartarus. That's the main place. Like you have mementos and Persona 5 Royal and Palaces to an extent as well. But in this game, it's all about Tartarus. You go up into this place that's literally your school building, but they had this whole concept of the dark hour. Literally, it's whenever the clock strikes midnight, there's a whole hour that exists that you had a whole bunch of people out in the world that are, that really are unaware of what happens in this dark hour. It happens every single day at the stroke of midnight. And literally, when you start off the game, you're literally walking around the city and there's like a bunch of coffins, and you're like, what the heck is going on? See like little pools of blood and stuff on the ground. You hear the little eerie and moans and stuff. It's like, what the heck is going on? I'm just trying to get over here to my new dorm. Like I just moved to the city and stuff. And then you get explained about the whole details and events and stuff and how these shadows lurk about in this hour. And, you have all of these people that basically had these mental issues and stuff because if you happen to be somebody or I was about to say cognizant. If you happen to be aware, someone that happens to be walking around in that dark hour and you're not within your coffin, that's when the shadows could potentially attack you. And if you get attacked and stuff, it affects with your mental state and stuff. It could lead to potential deaths and stuff like that, though. Or you just being stuck in a hospital or something like that, though. So literally, same thing like Persona 5 Royal. You got your merry band of people right there. You really start off with what's this one dude? Oh shoot, I'm still trying to submit the names of the characters up into my head though. But you literally start off with, I would say, about 5 different characters at first that you're kinda getting used to, and then they just kinda add up on there. So, obviously, you have your main, you got your main character. Then you also have one girl that's literally called, um, Yukari. And I think out of all the people I met so far, I think Yukari is definitely, like, best girl thus far, though. So you have her. Let me pull up all the things to make sure I don't forget anybody. Um, you have Akihiko, who's literally like the dude. He's kind of like an older, um, I'll say kind of like a senpai-ish. I feel like he's like a year older than most of them. Junpei is very similar to Ryuji in Persona 5 Royal. Like, he's the comedic one that kind of likes to, bounce things off of the wall. So yeah, between Junpei, Yukari, Akihiko, as well. Oh gosh, dang, who's the other one? I'm missing her name. Mitsuru. Those are the 5 that you basically kinda start off with, and then from there on, you get to add more party characters. I think eventually, by the time you get everybody, I think you have, like, a party of 10, but you can only have 4 people exploring in the dungeons themselves. So, you gotta have to balance and level everybody out, though. But, obviously, Tartarus, it does feel like a little bit of a grind when you're going through and doing those. I mean, obviously, you hit certain points in the tower, and it's like, hey, if you get so far, they lock you off. They say you can't advance anymore. Go back and do your social elements and stuff. And for a while, it kind of felt weird when I was going through and playing through the game. I was like, trying to figure out exactly when the main story beats happening. Like on every major full moon, that's when major events happen that really progress the story along. So you can kind of look forward to that. But I feel like once you hit the lock-off point in Tartarus, whenever you reach that one point, then it's like nothing but a bunch of social, elements, though. I feel like there's a lot more social events you do in this game in comparison to Persona 5. Like, I feel like the combat was a little more balanced with maybe Persona 5 than Persona 3, though, but for those that are curious about getting into Persona, I would definitely say Persona 3 is a little bit easier and a little bit more digestible to get into the series with versus Persona 5 Royal. You got to do a little bit more stuff in Persona 5 though, but I mean, it's basically your equivalents to like a Final Fantasy series. Just because you see that number 3 up on it doesn't mean you got to play 2 games before it. All the stories are self-contained up in this thing though. So, yeah, you can jump in with Persona 3 Reload, no issues whatsoever, and be able to jump up in it though. I think that's basically my raw impressions of the game thus far. Overall, I've been enjoying it. I dropped about 12 hours up into the game. In terms of Persona game in general, that's like a drip in the bucket, like you're barely scratching the surface. Because obviously, with a game like this, it takes about 70 to 80 hours to beat, and I'm only at 12 hours in. So I got a long ways to go up on this series, though. But I've been thoroughly enjoying my progression, at least with Persona 3 Reload. All right, Steven, wake up. That's my spill up on it, though. You
Yeah,
got any questions for?
when does he go baby 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 or whatever the
That was
song goes?
literally. I think you could barely play. I think an hour into the game, maybe 2 hours, and you got hit with that song.
All
Literally,
right.
the soundtrack in this game is really cool. Like, the way how they do the animations and stuff when you go in and out of battles don't take that long considering how it's a turn-based game, but they do enough with the animations and the style and the music. Like a lot of the music is like hip hop. Um, kind of. Oh goodness,
Yeah,
I talked too much now.
I'll definitely wait on a discount because $70 is kind of stupid.
Forgot this game is $70. Well, because I got the collector's edition though. I mean, I'm so used to $60 games. Holy. But yeah, so there was a lot of cool stuff that's up in Persona 3 Reload. I highly recommend it for those that are really curious about it. Even if you hadn't already jumped into the gun with Persona 5, like this game could be the one to get you in the series. Persona 5 just happened to be my first though, but nonetheless, this is a really great and outstanding game. All right, any other questions on Persona 3 you want to ask me, Steven?
No.
All right. All right, so everybody go out there. You heard my spill, you heard my take, you heard my raw impressions. Go out there and get that game. All right, so that was it in terms of the Persona 3 Reload highlight right there. But in terms of other games we've been going through and playing, I talked a lot already, Steven. So, what have you been playing in the past couple of weeks?
I started the Batman Arkham Asylum game because I've seen a lot of people talking about that Suicide Squad game and like kind of talking negatively about it.
Oh, so you picked up the trilogy?
I already had it for the longest time
Wait, had it on what system?
on PC.
Oh, on PC. Okay.
I didn't
Wait,
buy it on Switch. I'm not an idiot.
wait. So what? So you bought it on PC again? Or no, no,
No,
no,
I
no, no.
already had it on PC. I've had
Oh, you already
Arkham
had it. You
games
just
on PC
never.
for a
Oh, you
while.
just
I
never
never
touched it.
touched them.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, Batman Arkham Asylum so far is pretty cool. A couple weeks ago, I was speed running Pizza Tower a lot,
Hmm.
and because I was trying to beat Yoshi's time on Pizza Tower. That was one of my New Year's resolutions, and I did it. And now I'm like above him. I'm like 20 something on the leaderboard in that game. And I'm proud of the time I got, but I had to I grinded that game. I have like 70 extra hours in it now. And that was really the only games I've played recently. I've once in a while dabbled. I don't know. I got on Pokemon Legends Arceus when the 2 year anniversary came by a couple days ago.
Oh, just kind of play around and see what it still felt
Yeah,
like.
I got like two shinies just running around.
Wait, which ones?
A Chimchar and forgot what the other one was.
How much would it cost me to get that Chimchar off your hands?
I don't know. You got any spare Marshadows?
Nah, man, I don't have spare Marshalls, bro.
No, but I don't know. I'd have to see. I have to transfer all my stuff in the Pokemon Home eventually. I
Hmm.
have all the Pokemon games. I'm gonna do my transfer. I'm gonna do a whole transfer session one day. Yeah, because I beat Pokemon Emerald, so the next one I gotta play is Platinum.
Oh, you're playing on like original hardware, so you're talking about transfer it
Yeah,
up through the generations. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
which I do plan on doing. Like that's the whole point of buying the old ones at this. At this point, there's no other reason to.
Yeah. All right. Well, it sounds like you've been playing some cool stuff. At least with me, I already gave my spill on Persona 3 Reload. One game I managed to pick up before that game came out, like 1 week prior, I did manage to pick up the Great Ace Att not Great Ace Attorney, it's the wrong one. Apollo
Oh,
Justice
Justice.
Trilogy. I managed to pick that one up. So obviously that's the 4th, 5th, and 6th games within the mainline entries of that series. And my goal was at least beat one of those games. I hadn't played any of them before. So it's like, all right, let me see if I can go through and beat Apollo Justice real quick, game number 4. And I did manage to beat it within the span of a week. Like I literally beat it the day before on that Thursday, right before the Friday Persona 3 Reload came out though. And I was pleased like that. I would say that game is actually really good. The story really did pay off. I heard some things from my old buddy Bronto how like I guess the story between 4, 5, and 6 they don't really tell like a really good connective story as comparison to like 1, 2, and 3. But looking at it independently alone within just game number 4, obviously pulling stuff about Phoenix Wright and stuff into the story though. It is really rewarding. There were some things that there's only like 4 major cases up in that game, but the stuff that you learn in that first case, I never thought it would come back and affect me on that fourth case. And I don't want to say too much in case, somebody's happening to be playing through this game for the first time though. But there was some really cool stuff that was introduced in that fourth case I certainly wasn't expecting, and some things actually pulled from some older games. I'll just kind of leave it at that though. But honestly, I thought that game was freaking phenomenal. It was really impressive by the time I got to the end of it. And I got so excited about the game. I was like, let me go ahead and mess with five just a little bit. Even though I knew I wasn't gonna beat it, I just did like a little bit of the introduction for it. Because I know they introduced another girl. I don't remember the name of her, but she's the one that has like a yellow jacket. I think it's like a brunette or like orangish hair. Um, has like hanging from like an AI assistant bot or something like that, hanging from her neck or something like that. So she has like some kind of
Tropical.
yeah, she has like some kind of internal dialogue. The robot thing just says it, and then she gets called out on that mess. So imagine, having some deep thoughts about somebody saying, "Oh man, this dude's a straight up punk," but then that thing just says what you're thinking, in a courtroom nonetheless, though. But yeah, so honestly, the way how they start off that case, they literally blew up the courthouse. Like that's the tone that they started off on the first case. I was like, "What
Well,
the
no,
heck?"
just imagine like being in a courthouse and like having mind reading powers, and then the someone you just look into someone's mind, and it's just them saying, "Please don't, don't find out I killed them. Don't find out I killed them."
Mm.
Like that would just completely break a court case that read people's minds.
Oh, no, reading people's mind. Yeah, you get close with some of the stuff in serious past and stuff. Like you have to pull information out of them, but you don't necessarily read minds though. But you gotta interpret like because it was weird because I think in Apollo Justice, like one of the dude's powers was literally like somebody might be given a testimony right about saying some events that happened with the murder or whatever the case may be, and one of Apollos' things is like, the person will be saying their testimony, right? They might have their hand up by their face. You don't normally see it. You zoom in with his special eye vision power, whatever you want to call it, and you'll notice that the dude slightly scratches their neck ever so lightly. And it's because of that little interaction Apollo presses on that person's like, "Hey, I noticed that you were getting a little nervous whenever you said something about this event, and that makes me kind of lead on to believe, hey, I don't necessarily believe what you're saying. Are you actually telling a lie here?" And you're pulling information out of it. It was really cool, really unique stuff like that with the fourth game, though. So I really did like that. I really want to go through and play through the fifth and sixth game as well. But I'm just gonna have to do that on a slow grind, considering now I got Persona 3 Reload, and I just managed to get my collector's edition of Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. Literally came in the door today. So I was trying to record a video on that a little before this podcast and stuff. So you can expect another video out a little later this week though. But nonetheless, though, really good, solid game. I think outside of that, Steven, I don't think I've been playing too much. I'm trying to
Yeah, I'm waiting for
yeah.
Mario versus Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that one for me might be a street. Oh, and obviously I've been playing Mario RPG. That's usually been on Thursday nights when I go through and play. You saw some
Now
of my
that is a
games, yeah.
yeah, that is a based ass game right there. That is a awesome game.
And I think I streamed that game. I streamed that game 2 or 3 times now. Dog, I think it's only no, it has to be 3 times. I have to look on my own channel though. But, I think I managed to
I
stream
think
it either
there's
a
three.
couple or a few games or a few times. I think at the rate I'm going, since the game's like it's like a 10 to 12-hour RPG. It
It is
doesn't really
not
take
a long game.
yeah, it doesn't take that long. So I knew I can get it knocked out within like 6 or 7 streams at most.
And
So it
honestly,
won't
that's
take
my
me too
favorite
long.
part about it. That's my favorite part about that game is how short it is. Like, most people would be like, "Oh, I wish it wasn't so short. I wish I had more stuff to do in my favorite RPG." While Mario RPG feels a lot more like a game I could replay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, think about it, Zard. Out of all the RPGs you have played, how many RPGs would you genuinely say that you'd just replay on a dime? Like I
Oh,
could never,
oof, oof.
I could
That's a
never go and replay a Xenoblade game. I
now
love those games to death, but I could never go replay one.
Now that
That
that's the
makes
thing.
sense.
That's a really interesting question you brought that up because you know me. I love playing myself some really good RPGs or JRPGs. Like you mentioned Xenoblade. I would love to go through and play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again because I think out of all three of the games in the series, 2 was definitely my favorite in terms of like
Yeah, me
the
too.
overall package. and it
Yeah.
would be hard for me to do that because that's 60, 70 or 60, 70 hours you got to drop up in that game, right?
Yeah.
It, and then like Persona 5 Royal, that's a game I really love. That took me about 120 hours to beat. So I'm not in a rush to go back and play a game like that. Um, but then you have some shorter ones where it could be cooler to go back and play, like Live Alive. That one only took about 20 hours. That's probably the easiest, most digestible one, unless you're going old school like Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 or something like that, or like the OG Final Fantasies. Like I beat the first one. That one with the speed up stuff and easy grinding and stuff, the modern conveniences within the re-releases for that for consoles. I was able to get through in like 5 or 6 hours though, and I did a little bit of Final Fantasy too. But yeah, like a lot of RPGs, because it takes more than 20 hours to beat, you're not really excited or super eager to jump up in those games. It's keeping it a buck 50 though. I would love to, or love to forget like you played the game at all and then jump back in it though. But gosh, that just takes so much time. It's like you do
Yeah.
it once and then you kind of leave it alone. Maybe 10 years down the road, you might go back and revisit it, but you're not in a rush to jumping into it immediately.
Yeah, Mario RPG, I could then genuinely go like see myself going back to it like the moment I beat it. I
Mhm.
just like that game.
But yeah, I think outside of that, I might have did a little bit of Splatoon 3, but I know I got to save that because that's coming up, later this month with the DLC. And I obviously, on and off, I still play Honkai Star Rail, but that's about to pick up as much as I can withstand with it while I'm still trying to juggle Persona 3 Reload and now Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. I think it's, these upcoming couple of weeks, it's going to be nothing but Persona, maybe a little bit of Grand Blue and Honkai Star Rail. And and I would love to play the Mario versus Donkey Kong games, maybe on the side. I don't know. I might be debating back and forth because that might be a good stream series for me to do. Just chill, relax, or something after Mario RPG is done. So I don't know. I have to wait that one out. But I'll pick it up on launch day, Steven, but I won't. I don't think I'm going to jump into it immediately, especially considering how you have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out the tail end of this month. Too much stuff is coming out this month. Gosh dang it. Whew. But yeah, Steven, I
A
think
lot of
that's
games.
yeah, a whole lot of games. But I think that's basically all I had to say, at least from what I've been playing, and hopefully from what you've been playing. So we'll go ahead and switch over to the very last topic of the night, that being so about that show. All right, and doggone it, I forgot to drop a little thing right here though. But before I jump up into the show thing, I did want to say some congrats to our audience members. I think we peaked out on like 5 viewers, simultaneously watching the stream. A lot of people will usually go back and watch this thing later, but in terms of watching live, this might have been the biggest amount I might have had, consistently between the range of 3 to 5 people that have been watching this live here, on the front end though. So I just want to say, hey, thanks for everybody tuning in and stuff. And I got Alexis over here with his few comments over here though. So I just want to throw that out here before we get closer to the end of the show though. But in terms of stuff we've been going through here and watching though, have you been seeing anything good here lately, Steven? You said you've been watching a bunch of stuff on YouTube. Like what have you been watching the past couple of weeks?
So the last week, I'd say I've been watching and like I rewatched it once. The newest show I've watched on Prime Video, Has Been Hotel, came out like last week or 2 weeks ago. Which I don't know if you know anything about that show, but like it's basically like to summarize it real quick, it's about like this show where like it takes place in hell and like the
The
main
heck?
character,
Wait,
yeah,
hold on, man. Hold on, you're
it
bringing this
takes
stuff up here
place
on my podcast, man. I don't like that place. What the heck?
Yeah, I don't like that place either, but no, basically it's like this person in hell trying to rehabilitate sinners, like a plan to like rehabilitate them to get and like, make, redeem them to get into heaven. And like I can't go into it, but like it's a very adult oriented show.
And you said you watched this where?
I watched this on Prime Video.
Prime Video. Man, they got a show for everything nowadays. Like, what the
No,
heck?
it's actually no, but it's pretty good, honestly. The thing that makes it more interesting than just being like like this, this show about like bad people in hell is that it's a musical. So despite the fact,
Wait, a musical?
like,
You
yeah, it's a
lost me, bro.
musical. That's the no. I'm telling you, I can't really describe it, but it's a musical that takes place in hell, and the main character is basically like a Disney princess. She's like the
That's
nicest person in like this
that's
place full of fucking
the
evil people.
weirdest mixed bag of stuff I have heard out here in general. What
Yeah,
on
there.
earth?
I have no other way to describe it besides I like it a lot. I feel like the finale came out about finale came out like on Prime Video I think like 3 days ago, and I very much enjoyed it. And now I'm waiting for season two, which will be like a year and a half from now, knowing them.
Okay, okay.
It doesn't seem like the show for you, but like it's fun. It's very well animated. Originally a YouTube pilot in 2019 that became a full series.
Huh.
So I'm more surprised you didn't hear about that, because that pilot had a lot of views. Let me find it.
I feel like there's so much stuff that always comes out. You always say this like I'm surprised you hadn't heard about this, bro. I feel like I hear about and slash not hear
Yeah,
about
I
a bunch
guess.
of stuff a lot.
Yeah.
So it's, I
So
don't know.
the pilot had like 97 million views on YouTube, and then A24 picked it up and made it into an animated series.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, have you like I guess it's a similar situation to have you ever heard of the Amazing Digital Circus? That's a more recent one.
No, I don't think I heard about that one.
Surprise. No, but basically there's just it's a similar situation where it's like these, like these small team of indie animators get extremely popular for a show on YouTube, and then it's probably, that show and this one are definitely going to become full shows in the future. And I don't know, I feel like this indie animation is so much more interesting than me than whatever Disney's been putting out nowadays. Because let's did you watch Wish is a better question.
No,
Like,
no, I don't think so. No, that's not out on Disney Plus, and there was no way I was watching that in theaters.
but you
Don't
see,
think it's
that's the
on Disney
problem.
Plus.
You see what
Yeah.
I mean, though? That's the problem, that nowadays no one wants to watch anything in theaters. And rightfully so, obviously. Rightfully so, no one wants to watch anything in theaters because, I don't know, it's a Disney movie. Like, I don't have enough faith to go put money into a theater to go watch it.
Now I'll keep it real with you, Steven. The only things I'm gonna watch that's Disney releasing coming out in theaters, all my Marvel shows, I watch those in theaters. I don't wait on that mess. I gotta
Yeah,
talk about that stuff. So
well, yeah,
that's number one.
obviously.
Number two, the only other reason why I will go and watch a Pixar or a original Disney movie, it has to be like usually it has to be either them remaking a show or a movie that I have deep fond admiration for, like Lion King. And there's not that many out there that they'll do a remake on. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go
Yeah,
out there and
but
watch that.
The
Which
Lion King
that was an
remake
exception.
was,
I think that was the only one I saw that was a remake that I saw in theaters. And I think outside of that, Pixar wise, maybe a Toy Story movie, but that's it. I
I
don't
don't even
rarely
like.
watch I rarely ever watch anything else Disney wise that comes out in the theaters like that.
Yeah, I
Unless
don't
it's like
even like
real.
that Lion King remake. Yeah, I'd say Coco was probably the last Pixar movie I went to theaters for, and that movie kind of made me tear up towards the end. So I feel like that was the peak of Pixar cinema, and I'm not going back into a theater for a Pixar movie unless they really step it up.
Yeah. I mean, they're always enjoyable and I get a kick out of it once I watch on Disney Plus, but to invest that money and time to go into a theater, it's like, yeah, I gotta know it's good on the front end though.
Like, I
Like
guess
no
it's
if
like,
and or about.
yeah, ever since COVID, it just going to the movies is so much more of a hassle, and it's so much more expensive that, like, for a fun little movie like Turning Red, for example, I would I would just watch it on streaming, you know?
I mean, it did
But
originally
then a
come out on
movie,
streaming and then they
do
actually
you know what I
re-released
mean?
it for theaters, which was weird, but yeah.
But no one's gonna go watch that. Yeah, the main thing is like the streaming release. But then you have movies like Oppenheimer, where Oppenheimer and Barbie and stuff, those like felt like actual movies that people were talking about and going to see. And
Yeah.
Wish just came and went, and no one talks about
Honestly,
it,
I
and no
don't
one's gonna remember it.
you know what? Wish, along with something else, was like one of those movies where I was like, "Wait, that came out already?" Like, I did a double take. I'm trying to remember what the name was it was some Disney movie that came out, and I was like, "Wait, what the heck?" I literally forgot.
A Little Mermaid?
No, not Little Mermaid, even though no, I knew about that one because, the fact that, the Ariel herself was black. Like, there's no way I couldn't keep up with
The
that.
Lightyear movie? The
Um,
Pixar Lightyear?
that one
I don't
kinda
know.
came and went. I still had that one on my watch
There's one
list, and I
okay,
was like,
there's one called Strange World, which is a original Disney animated movie that came out in November 2022. No one knows about that movie.
I didn't know about it until you mentioned it just right now. I think that might have been the first
Yeah.
time I heard about it.
No, it is genuinely the most boggling release they've ever done. Like it looked kind of cool, but like it just had no marketing. It had nothing.
Yeah.
They've really just not had. I wouldn't say they've had a great movie since Encanto. If we're talking about like the animated side, Encanto's good. I like Encanto.
Yeah,
Came out in 2021. I like the songs. I guess I like a good musical. Nice, a nice classic Disney musical.
you
Like,
know
like
what? The funny
Aladdin.
thing about
Like,
Encanto, I still has not sat down and watched that. I still have it on my
I
list,
like it.
and I still had not sat
It's
down and watched it, bro.
Yeah, like that movie I'd say is definitely helped because the music is good, but like I like the how it looks as well. It just felt like it had heart put into it.
Yeah,
I don't know. And then if we're talking about the MCU side of things, Guardians Volume 3 is the last movie that actually interested me to go to a theater.
yeah. I
I'm
do
not going back.
know, what is it? Godzilla and Kong are getting another movie this year, so I'll watch that in theaters. And a couple of the movies that were supposed to come out this year that they rolled out to probably either next year or the year after, such as like the Into the Spider-Verse, movie. Like 'cause that most recent one we got last year, that was freaking amazing. I love that movie. I got that movie and the previous one sitting on my shelf. I don't buy a lot of DVDs, but I knew I was gonna get that one. That one was good, and then also the Mission Impossible one. Those movies were supposed to sequels should have been coming out this year, and they rolled those ones out. So I'm like, gosh dang it! I'm like, bro,
No,
why?
everyone always talks about those movies like they're the second coming of Christ. Are they actually good?
They're actually
The Mission
they're
Impossible
that
movies?
good. Mission Impossible was, oh my gosh, that was good, Steven. You need to sit down and watch that one. But I wouldn't put it past you to hold off on it until watching it later. So the time frame gap between that and the next one isn't as bad though. But it was so good, man. Golly. It was close to 3 hours. We're talking about, like, in-game length, though, but there was something good almost at every point in every corner, though. Also, the Fast and Furious movie, the most recent one that came out for that, a lot of people just watch for, cracks and giggles and stuff, but that was really good too, and we should have been getting a sequel for that one this year, and I think that one got rolled back a little bit, though, but, yeah, they had some good ones cooking, though. They didn't have another, what was it? I wanna say Jurassic World. Yeah, Jurassic World. They ain't supposed to have another one of those coming up soon, are they?
I
I
don't
don't
know, man. There's so much.
I don't
Like
think
that's the
so.
thing. Like that's the thing I don't get. There's so much that just comes out and goes nowadays. Everything feels so much less important. The only movie that Pixar's putting out that seems like it even got a little bit of a splash is Inside Out 2. And like, yeah, maybe people will care about it.
I
I
like the
don't know.
first one. That was a nice little
I
watch. As
think,
long as you're not going
well,
into the
yeah,
theaters and spending that much money on it, just renting it or having it on streaming service, that's a nice,
yeah.
fun little
No,
watch.
but I feel like people will actually go to the theaters for this one.
Hmm.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that fucking sucks. I feel like people will go to the theaters for sequels nowadays, but that no one is gonna go to a theater for a new IP nowadays. Or
Oh,
no,
because they get introduced to the movie
yeah,
via streaming first to figure out, "Oh, I actually like this."
yeah,
And
and
then
then
when
you
the
have
sequel comes out, then they're like, "Alright, here we go."
yeah,
Yeah. I
and
don't
then
put
you
it.
got and then you got Elemental, which like apparently a lot of people went to go see in theaters and like didn't like. I heard
Oh, no, no, Elementals,
I
I
heard
remember
mixed
that.
things.
No,
I heard
Elementals, that movie's good, I saw it on Disney Plus. That one's so weird because it came at theaters and it like the quote
Made
you
it
like
back,
say second
apparently.
coming of Christ. No, that thing had like a bounce back on it on that movie and it somehow started blowing up. Like it was weird. It
It
tanked
got
for a week
lucky.
and it came back. I don't know what the heck they did, but golly, that second coming of that movie. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but back in the day, people would go to the movies for a lot of like things. Like imagine, there were people going to the movies like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to go watch." I don't know what's a random movie on Disney's. I can't wait to go watch Finding Dory. People would go to the movies for a lot less. At least for
Yeah.
me personally, I went to go see the Indiana Jones movie that came out,
Oh,
and
there you
and
go.
I've
Thank you for
never
saying that.
I've never even seen an Indiana Jones movie. This is like my first one. It was fine.
No, I actually really like that Indiana Jones movie. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it on what was it on Disney Plus when they dropped. As many times I said Disney Plus on this thing. Come on, give me a sponsor, Disney
Yeah,
Plus.
yeah.
But
I don't know. Like,
but that
I
was
think
really good. I liked every moment of it though. I got concerned at the end what they were going to do with his character moving forward though. I won't say that part because it'll be spoilers though. But you know
yeah,
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
hopefully they just decide to stop. Like they're supposed to. Movies aren't meant to be for go on forever.
Yeah, or you can find your spiritual successor to the thing. I think that's the most important. Get something similar,
Yeah,
but obviously do something new and fresh on the idea though.
yeah.
'Cause
Let
I
let
think
characters die is
because
the
those
main thing.
characters like something like you would see within like a Tomb Raider or like an Uncharted or like the Indiana Jones and stuff like that. Like those that kind of go out either seeking treasures or getting these little thrill rush rides and stuff like that based on events
Yeah,
in history or something like that. Always like those games, like the Night of Museum and stuff like that. Like I always like those movies. I don't think I've seen one of those that are kind of in that theme that have been bad. So I think it won't be easy, but I mean, there's ways to kind of come up with new stuff though. But yeah.
yeah. And I was gonna say, visually, the movie looks pretty nice. Like the de-aging on Harrison Ford in like the first couple scenes is fucking crazy.
Oh no, yeah, that was pretty sick. I was like, dang, I thought this was like a whole nother actor at first. I was like, what the freak? But yeah, that de-aging stuff that Disney has access to, but like you saw it right there within that movie. And then if you were to go back and look at what was it? It was what movie was it? It was yeah, the original Captain Marvel. Remember with Nick Fury, that de-aging on that in that movie? Like, oh
Yeah, it was
shoot.
good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think in terms of shows. I already mentioned about Indiana Jones. I think everything else lately I've been watching has been mostly anime. Like I've been talking about stuff within the spring season and stuff. I already kind of talked about some shows I've been going through and watching though. I'm trying to remember what I hadn't already talked about. That Steven, you still need to sit down and watch oh goodness, Shangri-La Frontiers, man. You got one assignment, man. Just watch that show
Wait,
for me,
what?
please.
Which show?
It's called Shangri-La Frontier. I think out of everything that's been airing out this anime season slash last season, that's the one to watch. Like,
You said anime, and you made me tune out. I'm sorry.
no,
I'm
man,
sorry.
sit down and watch it. I kid you not, you will like this mess. I'm
Wait,
trying to tell
fucking
you.
a.
Okay, I seen that, and I think one new one I added on the list. Oh, it's every Monday afterward. Hokkaido girls are super adorable. That's like one of the most anticipated shows I like to
Well,
watch.
say that again. What the fuck did I just hear?
Hokkaido gals are super adorable.
I'm gonna kill myself.
Basically, like
Why are
girls
the
are considered.
titles like this? Why can't you have something normal? Like
Well, no,
JoJo's
that's
Bizarre
actually
Adventure is
fairly.
funny.
Hey, that's actually fairly normal because Hokkaido is a place in Japan. So
I
you've been
know
saying
that
some girls in
much.
Japan are super adorable. That's actually pretty tame compared to let me pick one out on my list right here. Banished from a hero's party. I decided to live a quiet
You
life in
just
the
have a
countryside.
list.
That's
You
one
just
show I'm watching right now. You're talking about crazy names, like that's one right there. The wrong way to use healing magic. I don't have anything else crazy right here. The rest will be like in my anime list though. But yeah, that would be one I would recommend for you to watch, Steven. No, but no, the Shangri-La Frontier. not Hokkaido gals are super adorable. I actually like that one a lot, the Hokkaido girls, because Hokkaido gals. I keep saying girls, gals. I don't know. It's just the interaction between the main character and the female protagonist. It's like he moved into like a countryside place and outside, it's still in Japan, but it's like way up north where it's like it's always snowing in the wintertime and stuff. And you would think it would be kind of hard for him to get friends and stuff up there, starting that new life up there, kind of living with his grandma and stuff. But he picks up this blonde chick, literally picks up this blonde chick. I don't know how. She just kind of gravitated towards this dude though, and is kind of attached to the hip now with him though. So it's been something kind of pretty adorable, nice to watch and see. I've been liking that. But one more thing anime wise, I would say I want to point out before I end the show is I've been going back through and rewatching pretty much everything Dragon Ball related from like Dragon Ball Z, starting with the Saiyan saga all the way up. I'm now in the Super Saga now with the Future Trunks saga. That's where I'm at right now. Like I just got to the point where Zamasu was defeated. So yeah, I've been going back and rewatching Super because we had the new upcoming what's it, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is basically Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi
What do
4.
you think of that? That's a good question. Did we talk about that?
I mean, I talked about it in the past when it was first revealed. Wait, did I? When I'm trying to remember when it was first revealed. I felt like I talked about it on my podcast show at some point though, but the game looks promising. I know they dropped out a new trailer recently that showcased off the whole entire roster with a bunch of holes up in it. We got to see the layout. And I looked at that and I was like, bro, there's gonna be over like 130 characters up in this game, bro. I was like, what
And
the heck?
24 of them are Goku and Vegeta.
Yeah, they got so many forms though. And I was literally looking at this list and I'm like, you can split up into quadrants like, base Dragon Ball characters, Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, Cell Saga, Majin Buu Saga, and now you got the whole Super Saga thing. So, this is the first time you can see like the super cast of characters within like a Tenkaichi game. And I was just thinking back over here, I'm like, bruh, like Zamasu, I forgot about this dude in Future Trunks arc. And this dude has he has Zamasu in Goku Black's form. Then you have the Rose forms. You have a standard Zamasu. You have Zamasu fused with Goku Black, and then you got like an ascended form from that where he has like a purple bulked up arm. And that's like 5 different forms for just Zamasu alone in one of his arcs, let alone all these other characters that you have from like the Tournament of Power and all this stuff. So I've been going through and rewatching the shows. I was getting a little bit more familiar with the characters once again, though. Along with also we had Dragon Ball Daima, which is like Goku in his kid form or something. That's going to be airing out later this year in the fall. So I was just kind of getting ready for the game as well as the new anime series. So that's why I went back and started, rewatching all Dragon Ball and stuff though. But like my gosh, I forgot a lot of the events and
Now,
stuff that happened within the Future Trunk arcs. It's not one of my most favorite arcs out of Super though, but it was interesting because I actually forgot about some of those moments up in there. I was like, oh dang, it was good to kind of get a refresh and all of that though. But I've been liking it. I'm about to the part where I'm about to dive into the Tournament of Power, and I actually really want to see that arc again because that's where things got real sick for the series though. But I think outside of that, that's been basically what I've been pretty much watching for the most part.
I think Goku Black is the guy in Fortnite, so I kind of understood what you just said.
I still don't understand, Steven. Why have you not sat down and watched at least, a few episodes of Dragon Ball Z, man? Like, come on, dude. That's an instant classic right there. I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to get you attached to anime, man. I know you would like it. Like, you just hadn't time to invest.
I don't know why I haven't. I just haven't.
I'm just
Like
gonna have to
there,
call you up on the
I
Discord
watch.
day
I
and
don't
just.
fucking know. I watched. Like I said, I don't know if you've watched JoJo. I've watched 2 seasons of JoJo.
I
That's a
watched.
substantial amount.
I think I watched
Like,
either the first season or half of the first season or something like
but yeah,
that.
2 seasons of an anime is a lot. I watched a lot of JoJo, and then I don't fucking know. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I didn't watch anymore, but I just didn't.
Yeah, I'm just gonna call you up on Discord and just share my screen and be like, all right, bro, we're watching the. I'm gonna watch Raditz get his butt kicked, man. I don't
I
know. We're
wouldn't
gonna do something.
necessarily. I wouldn't be opposed.
Dang.
Yeah. Let's watch. Yeah, just watch a couple people die. Nothing much.
All right, I'm gonna have to get you hooked on it. I'm gonna have to pull you in here somehow, some way. But
You'll get me one day.
I'll get
Just
you one day,
watch.
one day, one day. But I believe we're basically at the end of the show. Ran a few minutes over, but I thought it was all pretty good with what we've been talking and discussing about, though. But yeah, overall, a pretty busy week, if I had to do say so myself, with all the gaming news and stuff. I was coming up with that list. That was a whole bunch of stuff that was up on here, though, and I was like, dang. Well, we managed to get through it somehow in a couple of hours, though. But yeah, good stuff right there. Good stuff. So, that's gonna basically do it in terms of this show. I know for our US viewers, if you happen to be, watching the Super Bowl, next weekend and stuff, have a fun time, safe time, don't do nothing crazy, don't do anything I wouldn't be doing though. But should be fun. Hopefully get some cool commercials because commercials were kind of lacking last year, so we needed to step up. I need a meme from this halftime show this year so we can actually have something to talk about here on the show in a couple of weeks from now, and everything else in between though. But Steven, let the fine viewers know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Twitter at Steven Jr. 123. Not really doing much at the moment, but I might be doing something soon. I've been 3D modeling the last couple days.
Are you gonna do anything with your channel, man? Like you have a whole YouTube channel, and
Eventually,
you keep saying eventually, and you never been doing anything. Like you need like
because
a push.
I procrastinate.
Hmm. All right.
But at least, but I have I've been progressing, Zard. I've been drinking only soda for the last
Oh,
two
so you've
weeks.
been
Oh no,
holding up with the
no,
New
only
Year's
soda,
thing. Okay.
only water,
Oh,
only water. I said only soda.
should
I
I
was about
should
to
have
have a
caught you
fucking
right there.
mental break.
You said only soda. I was gonna say, bro, you might be
Yeah,
dying right now.
no, but that's what I used to do. I used to drink only soda, but no, I've drank
About as
only
bad as
water
my
for the.
aunt. Like I have an aunt that literally will drink anything but water, anything but water. And I'm like, how on earth does she do that?
No,
But
but yeah, no, I've been drinking only water for the last like 2 weeks at
no
work and
juice,
this and that. No, no
no
juice.
sports drinks,
I don't know. I had G
no
Fuel at
milk,
one point. I
no
bought G
orange
Fuel.
juice.
Yeah, I bought G Fuel and it's fine, but like I just thought it'd be a better idea to just only drink water. Why go for any substitute bullshit?
All
Just have
right,
the real
all
deal.
right. Well,
That's why. You know what I mean? I just thought, what? If I'm gonna go out of my way to stop drinking soda, wouldn't it just be healthier to start, drink water instead?
all
So I
right.
did that.
We'll keep tabs up on this though. So what was it? Well, not 70. It was technically 69. I think is one that you said that you
Nice.
were gonna. Bruh, I just thought about that. Anyway, that was the episode you said that you were gonna do that New Year's resolution. So we'll keep tabs up on this. So what is it, about 5 to 7 episodes from now? And whenever we hit summertime,
We're
that's when
gonna do
I'm
the water
really
check.
gonna be considered that's when I'm really gonna check on you. Make sure when you're watching a bunch of movies and you get snot out and you get a little
You're gonna
thirsty,
check.
make sure you're still drinking
You're
that
gonna
water.
check how
You
much
better
of
not
a
be lying to me.
consumer I've been.
Yeah. Ooh, all
I
right. Well,
got you.
that'll be an ongoing story. So I guess that'll be your thing. All right. Well, that's
That'll
gonna
that'll be
ba-
my thing.
yeah. So that's gonna basically do it in terms of my ZardCast episode 71. So to all the viewers that have been watching this live here tonight, thank you for so much for stopping by, and also to the wonderful viewers that might be listening to this on other um platforms or audio platforms in general. Really appreciate it. Really do though. But yeah, that's gonna do it for my show though. So if you really like this video, make sure you're gonna hit that like button. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell. Make sure you stay up to date on anything, video game related I happen to be talking about, posting. I do have, one unboxing video should be coming out sometime next week, along with my standard collection reflection video, make guesses on what game I'll be talking about this week on that, as well as my traditional Friday uploads and all that stuff. So you can expect about 3 videos this week dropping on the channel though. And if you happen to be one of my viewers that happen to be listening to this on audio platforms such as Amazon, Apple, Spotify Music, iHeartRadio, yes, you can listen to me in the car, as well as Google Podcasts, make sure to go ahead and switch over to YouTube Music, substituting that out since Google's getting away with that. Make sure switch over to that though. But for all my people that are listening on those audio platforms, make sure to give it a like, give it a little short review, spread around. We're just a couple dudes over here just talking about anything video game related, anything else we kind of like to just talk about and share, pop culture, gaming stuff, the whole 9 yards. We're here every other, bi-weekly on this podcast, every other Sunday night, airing at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. But yeah, that's gonna basically do it for this show though. So remember, y'all, until where a video I make next, take care, y'all, and have a good night. And I'll see y'all next time on my ZardCast episode 72. So see y'all.